and they gave us a Chinese midget homeless.
Many of the listeners are aware, Carl, that you're sort of fascinated by smaller people.
Well, he's fascinated by difference, I think.
Yes.
I don't think he's having a go at people. You're not having,
Never having a go.
when you sort of stare at someone because they don't look like you, and let's face it, most people don't look like you. You're not having a go, are you?
Well, like I said, the first time I saw Steve, I was never having a go. It was just, oh, that's different. but you know, like you know, Steve, I was never having a go. It's just that thing of, oh, right, interesting.
What do you mean?
No, just you know, I've said before about when I saw Steve and what have you. Now I've got used to it, and
Steve got used to it. What you
well, you know my feeling with this. I don't really know where he's coming from.
But Steve knows I'm not having a go either.
Yeah.
Carl used to carry around a book that was called the Top 50 Freaks of All Time.
Well, it's interesting you should mention that, because we actually had an email from Richie who says that he's been a fan of ours for many years and he's listened to lots of the radio shows we've done in the past and things. And he says, of all the people you've discussed, Carl, in the past, including some of the people from your kind of odd magazines, who would you most like to spend the day with, of all those people that you've encountered?
Favourite of all?
Well, certainly who you would want to spend time with, who you feel would be the most fascinating, the most interesting. You know, I mean, let's just recap on.
Well, there's Pillow Man, the bloke with no arms, no legs that can roll a cigarette with his mouth. Not impressed with it.
That's not sufficient.
What about the three-legged juggler?
So hang on, let's just recap for new listeners. This was a man with 3 legs.
3 legs, right? And it said his job, he became a juggler.
Okay.
Not using the gift that he'd been given.
What you suggest?
Anything, running, swimmer. Just. You know, but yeah, what are the others? What are the other ones?
There was a picture of a gentleman you were fascinated by him. He used to play the piano.
Oh, he's got a tiny head, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's that. That's the one who he sort of ages fast.
Right.
So like every other week he's having a birthday and stuff. And yeah, that was weird.
He's not having a birthday every other week. His body's just aged, so it has the appearance. His biology is sort of like he's 70, but he's only like 15. They don't have a birthday every week. You idiot.
But yeah, I don't know about knocking about with one a long time though. That's
only for a day.
Yeah. I suppose it depends what I'm up to. Because if we're going out and about, the Pillow Man would just be a bit of a drag.
Whereas if you're going for a walk across, the 3-legged guy, ideal.
So yeah.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Lots and lots of people emailing just with questions for Carl. People just want to get his opinion on stuff. So if you have questions for Carl, keep them coming in. podcast@rickygervais.com. We can't really reply to your emails, but we do read them, so we really appreciate them coming in. Just a couple of quick ones for you, Carl. Wendy says, if Carl had to eat the same dinner every day for the rest of his life, what would he eat? She mentioned this because she was having Christmas dinner and it was a big, she loves Christmas dinner.
It's the trouble with Christmas dinner. I mean, the roast dinner is the king of dinners and the Christmas dinner is the king of roast dinners.
Yes.
But you can't have one every day.
No, it's absurd.
But it's brilliant.
We have 3 meats in our house.
It's unbelievable. The amount of meats is just amazing. It's just a plate of meat.
It's just meat.
With one Brussels sprout. One token Brussels sprout and the gravy. Oh.
You see, it depends, doesn't it? I mainly eat just so I keep going. I'm not that bothered about, because I don't really taste it anyway. I just shove it down.
You're like a horse.
But at what point did it become important that things were sort of seasoned or garnished to go with it and stuff? At the end of the day, we're all eating, aren't we? So you can move about and that, and you've got energy.
Well, we need to know what we're tasting, don't we? Because we need to have certain things. We need sugar, we need salt. So we need to know what they taste like to know we're getting them.
No, now we've got chefs, so leave that up to them to make sure we're getting
I thought you were talking about an evolutionary standpoint and how it evolved, not there was a little chef.
That's likely.
No, but leave it for them to make sure, we're getting safe food. I mean, to be honest, it annoys me the way people worry about food now and how there's so much to choose from. I think it's got out of hand. I watch
any form of choice really worries you, doesn't it?
No,
you don't like choice.
No, choice is good, but not too much. It's like with anything now. If you go into a toffee shop there's like loads of
Sorry?
different...
Where are you going to find a toffee
So
shop?
you're in a fairy tale.
You're in a Dickens tale in the 19th century.
You're in Shrek. And
You go into a toffee shop.
What's your point? You go to a toffee shop.
What I'm saying, you go into a shop full of toffees.
Just come from the candlestick maker.
You go in there and there's just too much choice. It's like what, and I can stand there up to like 4 minutes, sort of going
Up to 4 minutes.
So he's in a toffee shop in a top hat.
Well, he's only got 4 minutes because he's got to get down to the pea green boat that he's taking off it.
No,
Good morrow.
but forget the toffee.
Can I have some of your finest Oxfordshire toffees?
So you'd prefer it was just one selection of toffee, that's all they've got?
Well, maybe two. What I'm saying is, right, there's now too much choice. Whenever you get a menu in a restaurant, it's not like you don't just go, oh right, what is there? Yeah, I'll have that. There's too much. It's like a book now, isn't it? And you look at it all. And then you've got to that point now that people are even taking a risk when they're eating.
What do you mean?
In Japan or China or something, they're eating that fish that if it's not cooked right, it can kill you. Right? Not worth the risk when there's so many other fish.
Yeah, I agree. Why
Have mackerel, have a bit of cod or whatever. As soon as there's a risk, take it off. Take it off
I
the menu.
agree. I totally agree.
Not worth it.
We've got a fish that might or might not kill you. Well, is there anything that definitely won't kill you? Yeah, but a chicken won't kill you.
I'll play safe then, I'll have that.
I love that. I love the chicken.
That's what I'm saying.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
But anyway, we were talking about sayings and that. Stitching time saves 9. Don't. I'm never going to use that. I don't think anyway. Okay. Suzanne.
You're never going to understand it fully, are you?
Suzanne repairs me stuff anyway. It doesn't matter. But what about the one? In greenhouses and that?
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Yeah.
What?
Does that confuse you? You've never understood that one?
No, that's a lot clearer, isn't it? It's sort of saying, don't be chucking stuff about if you're surrounded by glass and what have you.
Yeah, but don't forget, it's an analogy, it's a metaphor, it's not to be taken literally. It's not really just talking to people who live in glass houses. It's saying...
Hang on, sorry, before you say that, Rick, I'm intrigued to know if he's fully got to grips with this.
Okay.
Just give us your explanation again of what you take that to mean.
Well, just don't be chucking stuff about.
So, well, if that was it, they just say that.
No, but that saying's been around a lot longer than we think. That's when people probably did live in basic glass houses and stuff.
No,
What they mean now?
Who has ever lived in a glass house?
So cavemen went from rock to a nice crystal structure, did they? What are you talking about? When did people live in glass
Well, no,
houses?
what they mean now, when that saying's used now, they mean sort of, plasma tellies, ornaments.
No, they don't.
They're saying don't chuck stuff about because you break it.
No, it's not about damaging your own property.
They don't mean you're inside the glass house throwing rocks inside your own glass
It's
house.
a metaphor. It means don't be having a go at people if you yourself have got more to lose. Do you know what I mean? It means it could be anything. Don't start a war where you could come off bad as well. It's about how fragile your situation is. If you live in a glass house, metaphorically, don't throw stones at someone else, because when he throws it back at you, your house is more easily damaged than his. Again, metaphorically.
It doesn't mean that if you're living in a glass house or in a house with other precious objects, you don't, in your own home, throw bricks about. Because that would be a very specific audience that I was trying to reach, that phrase. I mean, let's be honest, what kind of a mental
Do you know
case?
what? I think we've got the crux to this. Right? I think I can answer. Right. Carl, what is an analogy?
It's sort of like a little story told quickly. Isn't it?
It's a little story told quickly. To what end?
Well, it depends what the story is.
Okay.
Give me an analogy.
Well, for me, I thought a one with the greenhouse.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a greenhouse. Before it was just a glass house.
Yeah.
Alright, then a glass house.
Okay.
Right. What I mean is that glass house is metaphorical. It's about the fragility of your situation as compared to your aggression or your...
You see, I just prefer sort of, what you say is what you mean. So people who live in a glass house have to answer the door
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I mean,
Because-
you may be a genius, because I don't get that. People who live in glass houses have to answer the door.
Okay, let's hear his explanation.
Because the people knocking at the door will be able to see you because it's a glass house.
But what?
But you literally mean it, don't you? There's no analogy there or metaphor for you. You literally mean if you live in a glass house and
go
someone
onto the
knocks the door. So there's no hidden meaning there, is there?
Well,
But
normally,
that also, you have to add a number of other things, other caveats. Surely, if you live in a glass house, don't walk around naked.
yeah.
If you live in a
These are literal. See, if you could actually make that into quite a nice saying there, because if that meant, if someone said that to me and they weren't a shaved chimp, right? If they said people who live in glass houses have to answer the door, I think that means, oh yeah, it means that there are no secrets. You can't hide behind anything. If you're very open, if you've chosen to be totally open all the time, you can't go back on it. So people, if you wear everything on your sleeve, if you shout around and you tell the truth, and you can't go back on it. They can see through you.
It can mean that as well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
oh, that's handy. But just the idea that in your head there should be sayings for people who live in glass houses. Who is it that's living in a glass house?
Well, I'm not talking about them. It's just that if everyone else is bringing up about these people who are living in glass houses, let's get to the real problems they've got.
He still hasn't got to grips with the idea of the metaphor or the simile.
People who live in glass houses should live near a glazier.
Well, here's another saying, right, that I learnt recently from a mate, right? Oh, there's an elephant in the room.
Okay, I haven't heard that one, but explain it to me.
It's like when something's going on in a room, right, but no one's mentioning it because everyone's a bit too sort of. But in a way, it's better that it's out. It's like how whenever we go out for something to eat or a drink or something, it's normally after about 5 minutes the sort of topic gets onto the shape of my head.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
I can't resist the shape of your head.
Right, so you're happy
It's not
talking
just the
about it.
shape, though, is it? It's the state of it as
No, but
well.
what
outside and in. I mean, it's a fascinating little objet d'art. His head.
but what I'm
It's perfectly round. It's got no hair where it should have. And it's hollow.
The features are slightly too small for the face.
Yeah, unbelievable.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's interesting how, like, I'm the elephant in the room, right? Nobody's talking about it. You mention it once, suddenly it's the talk of the town. It's what I mean. Everybody starts joining in, going, "Well, yeah, it's round, but it does suit you." And these are people who I don't even know sometimes, and they're all dipping in. And that is an elephant in the room.
So you don't want people to discuss the shape of your head or the lack of hair. You would feel better. You'd feel happier that they didn't mention that.
Sometimes I think it's better that it's out there. It's made me a stronger person, though. It's the same way, we were talking about religion and that. Samson Delilah,
Yeah.
he got weaker without hair. Whereas with me, I think it's made me stronger. Because, it's almost like it's treated like a disability. Everybody's sort of mentioning it and talking about it. What's it like having a bald head? And, you know what I mean? So it's made me stronger.
But would you ever wear a wig?
Not really.
What
I
was a
mean,
long wig like Samson?
well, the only time I wanted a wig was when I did jury duty once, wasn't it? And it was annoying that I was sat on the jury right in front of, like, these criminals, right? Everybody else has got disguises. The judges have them wigs on, right?
That's not
It is
disguises!
that's a disguise. That's why judges wear them, right? So
No! Well, then why did they print their name in the paper and have a picture of it? What do you mean it's a disguise?
it's a disguise, isn't it?
No! If it was a disguise, they'd go in with one of those glasses with a nose and the beard attached if it was a disguise. All judges would look like Groucho Marx if it was a disguise.
Well, I'm just saying that's what annoyed me when I was sat there on the front row, right? I couldn't have been any closer to the criminals, right? I was sat there and I thought, why didn't I just pop a little wig on or a pair of glasses?
I would have loved to have seen you in the front row at Crown Court.
No,
I'd
because
love to see it because in this country you're not allowed to show pictures of jurors. You can't take photos in a courtroom, so there's always these sketch artists that draw drawings, and it's on the news. The idea that we'd have seen 11 people and a sort of Krusty the Clown figure would have been amazing.
Yeah, I would love to see the artist do it with you. Complicated people. Oh, hey, he looks characterful, and then just a little round head.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown sitting on the end.
Carl, you said that your New Year's resolution was that you were going to learn something every day.
yeah,
Have you learned anything today?
if I can. Today, like, I don't know the full facts of it, but
Could I just say that when someone says they learn something new every day, that doesn't count if they forget it the next day.
no,
Because that would be Groundhog Day learning.
well, the thing I learnt today was about an octopus.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
on.
What they can do is, you know, they've got 8 legs and that.
Yeah.
They
Tentacles.
they can use 6 of them legs to cover their head, so they look like a little stone. And use the other 2 to run off. Right? But that's,
He's thinking of Squidly Diddly.
Yeah, it's a Disney image in his head,
He's
isn't it?
thinking of Pink.
but anyway, but anyway, that's you know,
So
that's
is
not the
Pink
main thing.
singing a song in your mind and running off? Yeah.
No, but anyway, but something else I learnt, right? It's mainly about animals and that, because that's
Yeah.
normally quite interesting.
Yeah.
There's a chicken somewhere,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Specific.
and the owner of it was getting fed up because, you know, he had to feed it and that, but it wasn't.
Embellishment.
it
Guesswork.
No, come on, let's hear it.
It wasn't giving anything back.
No eggs.
No eggs, right? So he was like, oh, I'm sick of this. Anyway, someone told him, pop a little axe next to its little house, right? So when it comes out in the morning thinking, oh, I'll have another lazy day doing nothing, right? He saw this axe, and suddenly it was like, oh, right?
Oh, for
Next
the
day,
chocolate thought, yeah.
it laid about 6 eggs.
It's rubbish.
Through
Squeeze
worry.
the
It's rubbish.
quick.
The chicken wouldn't recognise an axe as a threat. It wouldn't be able to reason that I better start working or I'll be meat. I better. It's absolute rubbish. Once again, it's this ridiculous thing you got that one personifying animals to reasoning powers better than yours. I mean, I think you know you make chickens and monkeys cleverer than you in your stories, which is weird. Okay, it didn't happen and wouldn't work. Next, what else haven't you learnt today?
No, well, as always, things like that always get me thinking.
What
right?
else haven't you learnt today?
No,
Carl?
he's got his mind's working now. This man has got his
Yeah,
mind
so that's
working.
rubbish.
Well, do you think then that it's worth looking after animals then if there isn't any memory? If they don't know what's happening anyway, you're always going on about don't be cruel to things.
Yeah, why would you be cruel? There's one thing about imagining chickens can reason, and because they can't, being cruel to them. Why does it matter whether an animal can reason or not for you not to be cruel to it? The reason I don't like blood sports isn't the fact that there's a fox missing. It's the psychology of the people that get off on seeing an animal ripped to pieces. They wouldn't like it if it was a robot. They wouldn't care. For some reason, in their psychology, they like this sport. Why does it have to be a sport? They're not culling. They're not putting things down for a good. They like to see this fox ripped apart or a bull tortured for their own pleasure. That's why it shouldn't. Why would you ever want to be cruel to an animal, whether it can reason or not?
No. I mean, I don't mean really cruel, but I mean like there's an advert on that's on in the in Britain, advertising some supermarket, right? And it's saying, we look at before we kill our chickens and what have you. They have a great life. This is like the voiceover, and you see happy chicken.
Yeah.
And it's going, we give it a good little house to live in. It's got straw.
Yeah.
It eats good.
Yeah.
And then we kill it. Right?
Yes, well that's better, isn't it?
Well, no, I don't think it is, though, is it? Because at the end of the day, if I was that chicken, right, I'm that chicken, loving my life. I can't believe me luck, right?
Well, we'd be pleased because at least he'd be able to do the show and we'd have some interesting conversations.
Yeah.
So there it is, right, wandering about. It's got its nice little field that it's working on.
Yeah.
It's got its nice food and everything. But it's going to die.
Yeah, we're all going to die.
But then, if you were like a rubbish chicken, that had like a rubbish life, you'd be going, oh, kill me.
Carl, they're not thinking what's going to happen tomorrow.
They don't know that they're going to get for the chop, are they?
A chicken's not going, I'm fed up with this. I can't wait for that axe to be used on my neck.
Yeah. Well, that's another. Now you've mentioned the cutting off of an head, right?
Yeah.
On the chicken. That's something else I've learned, right?
It's like a pinball, is mine.
Amazing.
Isn't it? Ding dong, bong, dang, ding, ding, dong, dong. Oh, head, ding, ding, chicken, head off, bing, dong.
No, right, but this was in a proper science magazine as well. Right?
Yeah.
So you can't have a go. This wasn't something on the internet. This was printed in a magazine.
You read it.
Okay, and what was it?
And here comes the filter. It's going to come out nonsense.
Right, well-
you could have Professor Stephen Hawking sitting there whispering stuff in your ear, and it could all be true. But when you said it, gobbledygook.
Well, let's see then. Let's see, right? What they've done another experiment, right?
Yeah.
They've cut somebody's head off, right? And you know how they used to do it in the olden days, where they'd put your head in a stock, cut it off for whatever reason, right? You've done something wrong, right?
Mm.
And the question that everybody used to talk about in the village was, I made eye contact with it, right? And it was a bit worrying because he was looking at me and he looked fed up and that.
No, he's dead.
So they've put a bit of work into this, and they've done it again somewhere, right? And they've worked out that once when the head comes off the body, it stays alive and that
No.
for 30 seconds.
Well, no, they don't know that. They can never know that.
No, they did it. They did this
No.
experiment.
What's alive? What's alive? But there's loads of issues here. One, no one's experimenting with human beings cutting their head off, Carl.
Well,
Two, no.
So you read
No.
this in what? Executioners Monthly?
This is
Yeah. No, two, Carl. It's what your definition of alive is, because you can be alive and have no conscience.
No, but this is where it gets weird, right?
Yeah,
They haven't told you that.
this is where it goes. You talking about it?
So the head's off, right? And what they did was they chucked a load of questions at him.
All sanctioned by the government.
Yeah, this is fine.
So the head lands perfectly on the neck and goes, what do you want to know?
And it said,
So they're asking questions and it's going, do you know what? To be quite honest, I'll answer your question. I'm a little bit annoyed about the execution still.
well, that was the interesting thing. They said it's about
No, it's not. It didn't happen, Carl.
me hear it.
Oh, don't talk.
Let me
shit.
hear it.
What are you talking about? There's people around in white coats going, quick, ask it a question. It's bleeding.
right. So they said for about 25 to 30 seconds. The last 5 seconds, it is sort of like can't be bothered answering them.
Right,
Apart from that, they were chucking stuff. I don't think it spoke. I don't think it was like 2 and 2 is 4 and stuff. It was more. It was to do with blinking.
So blink once if you say
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
blink twice.
So I told it, said, listen, when you die, you're probably not going to be able to talk because your jaw's going to be on the ground. You're not going to be able to open your mouth. If you do, you'll fall over backwards and hit your head. Now, listen, blink 1 for yes and 2 for no. Yeah, all right, yeah, not too bad. Yeah, the axe nice and sharp. Yeah,
Promise?
you're
You
talking
promise?
shit again.
You promise to do it? Yes. All
Yeah,
right.
well, yeah. The thing is, they wouldn't be able to do it with you because if they cut your head off, it would just roll. It would roll away because it's perfectly spherical. And they go, oh no, there's
Plus,
no.
it takes about 20 seconds whenever you ask Carl anything for the question to process and for him to start to formulate an answer.
Anyway, if people listening and that, if they learn anything, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Just send it in because
Because it'll come out gobbledygook when Carl tries to translate it.
Interesting facts is what we're after then. Plus also, if you've got any questions for Carl, if you just want to see how his mind works, then you can get in touch with us.
Or whether his mind works.
Indeed, we've
Any
some proof of
doctors,
that.
psychologists out there.
Podcast at rickygervais.com. That's how to get in touch.
Carl, it's what we've all been waiting for. Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news.
Right, well, this one sent in from Sam in New York, right? And it's about a fire that happened, right? In a really, do you know, like in New York, they have loads of big buildings, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Right, really, really tall ones and stuff.
Skyscrapers.
Yeah. And there was a fire in one of them, right? So they did as expected. They called up, fire brigade and that. They turned up, right? Fire engine parked up. It's like, right, where's the fire? And they said, oh, it's on like floor 100 or whatever. And they said, oh no, we've brought the fire engine with the short ladders,
Stupid mistake, but go on.
right? So anyway, so the fire's going and that, and they're saying, is there anyone in there? They're going, I don't know, there might be someone up there, but the telecom's not working and
Who
stuff.
do you think might be up there, Rick?
I don't know.
But just a woman, I imagine. Just a woman or a child.
Is there a fireman that could climb up a building at all without a
That seems
ladder?
unlikely, but go on.
Go on.
So anyway, so they said, well, how are we going to get up there?
Yeah. We can't.
But if they've only brought a short ladder.
No, we can't. Let's go home. Okay, that was monkey news.
So they said, well, there's a lot of like grippage.
Because they made up words. The firemen, the NYPD firemen.
There's a lot of grippage.
On the side of the building and stuff. So anyway, they said, why don't we just go and get a monkey, right? So they got a monkey.
That's a bit of a jump.
Is
They
that
just-
policy now in the New York Fire Department?
Well, you've got to think quick, haven't you? At the end of the day, if people are up there, you don't start querying if it'll work or not. You try everything that you can to help someone out, right?
That's the first thing I thought of, was it a monkey?
So it was quicker for them to go and get a monkey than to go back and get the long ladders.
why don't they get Spider-Man? Why don't they get Spider-Man?
Yeah, cool Spider-Man.
Yeah, cool Spider-Man.
So anyway, so they got a monkey down there, and they said, right,
Where did they get it from?
we don't know, from the local zoo or something.
Oh, yeah.
So they said, look, let's, we've got to remember there could be someone up there,
Right.
and it'll shock them a bit if a monkey comes in, right?
Yeah.
So they said,
Yeah, I don't think they'd care.
Get it
If their building's on fire, they're not going to go, that's weird, there's a monkey at the window. They'd be screaming, save me! Oh, there's a monkey.
so,
Where are you
right,
from then?
so they said, right, we'll just get it a little small uniform and that, the smallest you've got.
But whoa, hold on though. Actually, where are you going to get that? I'm going back to the station. We'll get the long ladders while you're there.
No time.
No time. No, I bought the small uniform. I just didn't bring the long ladders. You're an idiot.
So anyway, it goes up there. It's got all the kit on and what. It's got its little Arda on and all that. It grabs. There was like a little person up there. Manages to grab that.
Not
got a little.
Who was up there then?
It was just
Someone that was just the right size for a monkey to be able to rescue, which is handy. Because if it had been anyone else, like a larger person or a family, we'd all be screwed.
No, I don't know about the size of it, but it's just the story saying how like it was quite a big monkey, and that it was good at breaking down doors.
Oh yeah.
It was good at climbing into small spaces and stuff like that. Anyway,
But
managed
so
to.
it's big enough to carry a fully grown man, but small enough to climb through a cat flap.
Yeah,
Sure.
so
Which is handy.
So anyway, it managed to,
Could
get
have the boots on as well.
It got the person and everything, and now it says it's sort of it's on call if they ever need it again. So.
Sure, and if they ever get anywhere again and they've forgotten the long ladders, but there's plenty of grippage, they just call for Coco.
So that's this week's monkey news.
Bollocks.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our podcast there. Another half hour of absolute drivel. I've been Ricky Gervais. With me, Steve Merchant.
See you next time.
And Carl Pilkington. And we'd all like to thank those brilliant guys at Positive Internet for hosting this podcast brilliantly. Positive Internet hosting the world's #1 podcast. Here's DJ Reach Around.
It is hard eating a knob.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying like I could eat a knob at night. 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 It is hard eating a knob.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Welcome to the 7th Ricky Gervais Show on podcast. I'm Ricky Gervais, with me Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington. Now, talking of that, that's only 5 to go then, isn't it? 5 to go in this series of 12.
Still seems a lot though, doesn't it?
We'll take a little break. I'm sure we'll come back through popular demand, I'm hoping.
Yep.
I'm hoping to put that on the poster, back by popular demand.
Well, I'm hoping it's by overwhelming public demand.
Yeah, exactly.
My favourite.
Yeah, as we're doing it for nothing.
Yeah.
We want to get a little bit of a pat on the back. don't we?
Exactly, please.
Do
Do they give awards out for podcasts?
Oh, if they do, hello, I am already writing my speech, baby. And I was thinking that everyone listening, if you want to register your email with us, we'll let you know when we're back on air, maybe later in the year. Go to rickygervais.com and just register, and then when I do a general mail out, I'll let you all know when Carl Pilkington is back.
You are a good guy to these people, Rick.
No sweat.
Now, there's been an awful lot of correspondence. It's backing up there. We've got acres of it to get through.
It is a bit mental, actually, but it's very flattering, and thank you all. And people have sent such brilliant things in and spent so much time doing them. There's someone sent in this mock-up of, we were talking about the those Russian sort of iconoclastic artifacts, and someone's mocked up Carl Pilkington as Saint Carl the Bewildered. It's brilliant. It's so good.
Can we put those on the web?
Yeah, I think let's put that up on rickygervais.com, and that's from Joe Murray in Philadelphia. We've also got one which is a little work of art from Ed Ferrari, and it's the three of us in a studio, and it's just great.
It's a very flattering picture of you there, Rick. You look about 14.
I know, I've come out very well in this. Carl, he's got a head like a fucking orange. Look at that. And you, well, I don't know what you are. Your head is about 2 foot long, and in real life it's only 18 inches long, isn't it? So he's exaggerated yours a little bit, but it's a lovely drawing. We'll put that up on the web as well. Just everyone go to rickygervais.com, everyone register please, and we'll email you, and everyone keep sending stuff in, so thank you very much.
Carl, Joe from Bradford asks, what body parts can you live without? He wants to know, he's obviously having sleepless nights thinking about this.
What, so...
With a brain.
He's going this far.
So the bits that I've got now, if I had to get rid of one of them, what wouldn't I miss?
Yes.
See, I did a bit of an experiment on this, right?
Brilliant.
It's my job at home to wash up. Right? Suzanne does.
She gives you all the really big responsible ones. Yeah. She sort of like pays the bills and wires the house, and you go, what can I do? And you can go, well, you can go and play with the worms in the garden.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's my job to wash up and that, right? And I thought to sort of make it interesting and stuff. I thought, I wonder if I can do it, right? If I didn't have any thumbs.
And so what did you do?
So I just sort of
sliced off your thumbs.
I just sort of held them in, and it's amazing how like it took me ages just having that one thing gone.
Well, it's part of our evolution, the opposable thumb. Basically, that's when we soared. These are milestones in human evolution. The opposable thumb, the forward-facing eyes, the upright. These are massive things in taking us out of the animal kingdom.
And one day, Carl, you'll walk upright.
But what do you mean about eyes facing forward? You mean before we got here, there was people whose eyes were looking in their head? I don't understand. Is that what you mean?
No, because when we got sort of binocular vision, where we could, because we were predators have a forward face. I'm going way back. I'm not just saying. I'm not saying chimps had eyes on the side of their head, but I'm saying big, major milestones in any evolution. I lost you at evolution.
Yeah. So when you were doing this experiment, washing up, you say that you found it difficult. It took you ages. So you didn't just give up once you realised how essential thumbs were.
No,
you actually washed up everything.
I just think of Suzanne walking in and Carl's there, just covered in water and very liquid suds, standing on a pile of broken crockery.
Yeah, plunging his face into the sink every 30 seconds and just swishing his head around.
But we talked about the washing up thing before, haven't we? When I was stood there washing up, and I sort of look out of a window, so the sink's in front of the window.
Yeah.
And that's why I quite like washing up, because I can just look out onto the street, see people going past. There's like a local homeless fella called Franco. You know, I look out, like he's all right and everything.
Sure.
But I was looking across the way, right, and there's some there's some Chinese people who live in a flat, right, really small flat. And they're up till all hours. I don't know what they're doing. But they decide to back up at about 3:30 in the morning. And they're always really noisy and that. But above them, there was some woman, right, who the sort of bedroom is on par to our kitchen, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sort of washing up.
Yeah.
And I sort of look across and see this woman with like, you know, no pants on and that, no bra and that.
Naked.
Yeah, just.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yeah, she's just wandering about without on that. So I was like, oh, that's annoying. So I carried on washing up and that, right? And kept looking, and then I was looking and she looked at me. Right, so we made eye contact.
Sure.
So I was like, oh God, right? So what I thought the best thing to do was sort of drop me pants a little bit. just a little bit, just like, you know, I had boxer shorts on and that. I thought if I just show a little bit of sort of arse cheek, then it's kind of like, right, we quits. Right?
I don't understand the thinking.
So Suzanne's watching the telly, right? I think she was watching Sex and the City or something.
Yeah.
she sort of turns around to see how I'm getting on with the washing up, right? She sees me with like my pants sort of down a little bit with my arse out. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Don't look now." I said, "But there's a woman over the road, right? With no pants on and that." She caught me looking. I'm just giving her a bit back.
I love the fact that he explains the rules, and Suzanne's meant to go,
Okay, that makes sense. But I don't. So hang on. So you showed a bit of your arse. You turned presumably to show the arse, or waggled the arse out the
I
woman.
had to lift it up a little bit on the sort of on the draining board.
What? Hang on though. What did she do? Did you register her reaction when she saw a bit of your arse? What happened?
When she saw my arse,
Yeah.
well then I wasn't looking because I thought, in a way, I don't want it to look like, well, I've seen a bit of your stuff, here's a bit of mine. I just thought, at the end of the day, I caught a glance of you.
It's only fair.
You've had a bit back. You know, I'm not
You
making
see,
a big deal out of
I
it.
genuinely think James Stewart missed a trick here in Rear Window.
Yeah.
This would have been, a much better film had James Stewart just popped his pants down.
It would have given a whole new meaning to the title Rear Window.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tricky though. I seem to be surrounded by people like that because I've told you before. There's the old woman across the way who's just sat there reading a book. I look through everybody's windows like that. Remember that film, that Sliver or something?
Okay, right.
When they've got video cameras.
Yeah.
I'm just looking onto everybody's world and just seeing what people are getting up to. There's nothing wrong with that.
Brilliant.
That's why I like washing up.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Chris has emailed a mantra for Carl. We were talking about famous mantras and sayings and things.
Yeah.
Never has a Manc said so much to so many that means so little.
Brilliant.
So you can have that on your headstone.
Your
Rupert.
little round headstone.
Rupert's in the Isle of Man. He says, I don't know if you knew this, Carl, but apparently octopus's testicles are located in their heads.
Yeah. But then, to me, that isn't that amazing because at the end of the day, an octopus, really, all it is an head. Isn't it?
So everything it's got has to be in the
It has
head.
to be in the head. It'd look daft if they dangled down below. Right? So all it is, I mean, there's a lot of facts.
It'd look daft if they dangled down below. I'm wondering again. That's almost. I don't think you should start sending them in, but that could almost be the B-side to
B-side to
Another Night.
I Could Eat a Knob at Night.
James Round says, Carl, if you could be anyone in the world, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Why would you choose to be a dead person?
No, but sometimes, like, there's people who are now dead, but everybody raves about them.
But are you saying... But he wants you to live that life, not have been that person. Are you saying that if you chose Napoleon, you'd be Napoleon, but you'd be back to life walking around now on the bus, or it'd be the 18th century, or what? What are you saying?
What I mean is, if
Oh, just answer the question. Who would you be and why? It's someone you admire or you think had a good life. Just answer the
but
question.
What I mean is, it's good to be remembered. Like Winston Churchill is remembered as being a decent bloke, but I wouldn't want the hassle that he had. So I don't want to live his life.
Right.
But it's good to be...
You'd like to be Winston Churchill, but you'd like to have a paper round instead of...
Saving the world.
yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. But is he saying whose job would I want to take on?
It's not that
The
complicated.
question is this: if he could be anyone in the world, who would Carl be? That's the question. That's all the information I've got.
A lot of responsibility on a lot of jobs, isn't there?
So some of the names flowing through your head now.
I was thinking Bruce Willis.
I never expected that! I never expected that!
So his responsibility in your mind is what? Saving people who are trapped in a building with terrorists?
Well, yeah, maybe, his worries are different worries. With, people who have a lot of money come other worries.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Bruce Willis, he's always going on these marches, isn't he, saying stop war and all that. Mainly because he's got more to lose if there's a war. He's got loads of houses. One of them's going to get damaged. Whereas if you're poor, you've got the one house. If there's a war, it's like, just end it all for me then. I'm sick of it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Whereas Bruce, yeah.
With successful life and happy life, there's more for you to lose, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like at the moment, because I've finished a job that I've been at for 10 years, right? I've finished working there, so suddenly I've got my timetable's a bit out, and I haven't got enough of a routine. And I'm a man who likes to know what I'm doing. Right? So now suddenly,
5 until 7, washing up with no thumbs.
I've sort of turned into like an old person, where the little jobs that you shouldn't enjoy are now the main event. So
Hold on, how old are you? You're 31, aren't you?
32.
32, and you're pottering around, not knowing what to do with yourself.
Well, like yesterday, Suzanne's shoes needed to go to the cobblers. Right?
I haven't heard the word
I
cobblers.
didn't even know cobblers still existed.
I only ever see that in Christmas films made by Disney.
Well, I had to go and do that, and that suddenly.
Because last time you were going to the toffee shop, and then you went to the cobblers. Next week is the candlestick maker.
I mean is that suddenly is a nice little day out. I'm sort of putting my coat on, going right. I'll go and see the cobbler now and go and have a chat.
Tell me about the cobbler.
You didn't come back with 3 magic beans, did you?
No, the cobbler's all right. He's doing he's fixing
Cobbling.
shoes and that.
He's cobbling all day.
Have I told you about my Uncle Alf, who was a cobbler?
No?
I'm sure I told you about him. He's the one who he lived in like a bedsit, and he had 2 tellies. He had like one that the sound didn't work on,
Alright.
and one that the picture didn't. But both together, it worked.
Oh, right, okay.
So as long as he was watching the same channel on both, sound came out of one telly, and he'd watch the picture on the other.
Brilliant.
And he slept in like a rubber dinghy, right? but he was.
Whoa! You can't just let that slide. Why did you even a rubber dinghy?
He just liked boats and stuff, and he sort of.
Yeah, I like boats, but they're better on the water. Beds are better to sleep on. Boats are better to sail on.
Well, he just had it in there. It's a bed sit. It was really tight space.
Boat sit?
He's got this.
He's moved into a dinghy sit.
He's got this dinghy, so he's thinking, well, rather than it get in the way, I might as well use it.
Yeah.
Right? But he was a cobbler, and he used to like repair like my shoes and that. Right? But he'd always sort of overdo them. Right. So
What do you mean?
like,
Fancy.
do you know like Pimp My Ride on MTV?
Yeah.
Because he does up shoes, he'd go mental on them.
What do you mean? There was the stereo.
Yeah.
Well, no,
There was horns.
It's like,
Here comes
faster
Carlton.
stripes down the side.
Here comes Mr. Pilkington. He's got the fastest shoes in the land.
no, it just makes shoes that would last forever. So instead of putting like one sole on, he'd put about 5 on. So it looked like one of them built-up shoes that you never see. He'd just put loads of stuff on. They'd last forever, but they did.
But they look like
I was-
orthopedic shoes.
Yeah. It just like suddenly I was like 6'7", whenever he'd sort of sorted my shoes out. But he's a cobbler, and it's work that's always there for you, isn't it?
I suppose so.
So you went out with to take Suzanne's shoes to the cobbler.
Yeah, so that's it. Yeah, so I just took him to the cobblers and that was like a nice little job for the day. I got a leaflet through the door saying, if you want to walk a dog, the rates are good. I don't know what they pay and that, but I got a little letter in my little letterbox saying, if you're free in the day,
What, they pay you to walk a dog?
they pay you to walk a dog and that. And I thought if I do that and get a paper round, 2 in 1.
Sorry, you just went from a job, right, where you were the head of production at a radio station, dare I say it, on... can I discuss your...
Well, it was an alright wage. Yeah.
It was very good.
But I wasn't happy, so it's pointless.
No, I know that, but to go from the head of a department on a lot of money to walking dogs and doing a paper round, I don't know.
No, but it's about being happy, isn't it?
I know, but that's commendable if that's true, but... okay.
And what makes you happier?
Well, I haven't walked the dog yet, but I'm just saying if I do... I mean, I'm not taking it if it's raining. I'm just thinking if it's a nice sunny day and I fancy a potter, I'll go round to her and say, well, how much are you paying? I'll take the dog a walk and stuff.
But I can't believe some of the words that have cropped up in this. It's 2006 now. Potter, cobblers, toffee shop. It's very, very strange.
Do you live in Narnia?
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Right, a lot of people are sort of emailing in sort of brainy stuff,
Brilliant.
right? Which, the more the merrier. I'm happy getting all this stuff, and if it grabs my eye, I'll run it by you, and you can sort of tell me about it and that. And getting a lot of stuff about philosophy
Oh, yeah.
and all that. Descartes, that's another one that's mentioned on an email.
Descartes,
Yeah.
the French philosopher.
Yeah.
What's your question?
Well, he sort of cropped up on an email. Someone said, what do you think of of him, and I was like, oh, I don't know.
He famously he pondered his own existence. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. He was thinking about that. He was thinking, how do I know all this is true, everything around me? And he thought, well, I can see it and I can smell it and I can hear it. And he went, oh yeah, my senses can be fooled. I could be dreaming. And he thought, well, that's true, I could be dreaming. But if I'm dreaming, then at least I'm alive. At least I have some sort of consciousness. So if I'm even thinking about anything, I exist. I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum.
But we don't need to know the Latin bit. Why is everyone always going back to Latin? It was ages ago. Why is that language always being... And were Latin people always in a rush? Because they seem to be like words for full sentences. Why couldn't they just set the time and say what they want to say? And it's just like, what was the rush?
To teach Latin!
What about Plato?
Right, Greek.
Right, now, would you say he's a bright bloke?
Yes, I would. I'd say he's a very, very bright bloke.
Right, let me tell you this. Right, if he's that bright, you know how he got killed?
No.
Got hit on the head by an egg.
Fucking hell! Well, he's not so clever then, is he?
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
What's the story with the egg?
He was on holiday or something, right? And
He was on holiday
in Greece, probably.
he was having a walk about, and a bird was flying over his sort of.
This
over the
bird
beach.
was what? A great auk? What size bird killed him with his egg?
It was a big one, yeah.
Was it?
And the way they used to crack
An ostrich on a hang glider.
the eggs open to let the kids out, they used to drop them on rocks.
What bird is this? Dropping its egg to let the kids out? You're a maniac! You are a maniac!
And Plato had a little bald head.
Right.
So from the top, the bird's there looking down, and it goes, oh, there's a little rock, I'll drop the egg. Hit him on the head, killed him. Now, this is what I was saying before about...
I'm letting too much go now, because I'm so desensitised to his nonsense. I let him go. The bird saw Plato and said, there's a rock down there.
Yeah. Well, if these birds are killing people with bald heads, you've got to be terrified.
So, but listen, this is what I'm saying though, right? Before about knowledge and that how knowledge is hassle or success is hassle.
I think that was Newton. Knowledge is hassle.
Now, why is Plato's intelligence got anything to do with the fact that this bird dropped it on his head?
Because he was intelligent and he's probably earning a nice few quid by giving out whatever messages he gave out.
Yeah.
He could afford to go on holiday to exotic places. If he was working in a factory, he wouldn't have been on this beach with big birds dropping eggs, is what I'm saying. So, in a way, it backfired. His knowledge killed him.
And that, I think, was Kierkegaard. His knowledge killed him.
Where you got this stuff about him being on holiday?
Well, he shouldn't have been on the beach. He was only there having a break or whatever from doing what he does. It wouldn't have happened if he wasn't on holiday.
Again, I can't remember which show this was that we were discussing this, but we talked about run-on phrases and quotes from the past. We talked about Benjamin Franklin. People have. This is an email we've had saying, Carl, what do you take by the well-known saying, "A stitch in time saves 9"? A stitch in time saves 9.
Oh, a stitch in time saves 9. Yeah.
See, it's another one that I don't think I've picked up on a lot of these sayings that are being sort of thrown about willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. Okay.
Willy-nilly.
No, but I, again, it's one of them like last week. I've heard of it, but
what does willy-nilly mean?
Just sort of like throwing it about all over the place.
What do you mean? But what someone said, what does the term willy-nilly mean?
It just sort of means, carefree.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, but what does a stitch in time save 9?
So you understood willy-nilly, so you used a phrase.
I mean,
you used it, you said it willy-nilly, but you sort of got the gist of it. So what does a stitch in time saves 9 mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Think about it. A stitch in time saves 9.
Is it to do with sewing?
Well, yeah, sort of.
So it's not that clear.
So if you've got a jacket,
yeah,
and the seam starts coming undone, there's a little bit of seam. I'll leave it. It's getting worse and worse. Soon your sleeve falls off. So just need 1 stitch there. That'll do it. If you do it now later, you'll need 9 stitches. And that, of course, is an analogy to other things. If you leave something that needs attention or repair, it'll get worse. So do it now. Do it in time.
Yeah, but
They could have said a tile in time saves 9 on the roof. They just used a sewing analogy.
But it depends if you're busy at that point, because if you've got something else that needs doing, that means that isn't being done because you're messing about sorting out a hole in your coat. Is what I mean. You can't always do stuff straight away. So maybe, I don't know if there's a sort of a middle ground where you don't have to do it straight away, but stitching
A stitch sometimes
time,
today.
say in 15 or whatever, meaning you don't have to do it straight away, but just do it before it gets really bad.
Brilliant. Do you think yours is less poetic than a stitch in time saves 9? So yours is, this is what you want it to be a quote, right? Where, well, you could do it now, but if you're doing something else, then, well, don't do it immediately, but do it soon so it doesn't get really bad. Carl Pilkington.
No, but it's the same. That's the same way I treat most things in life. It's like I never go to the doctors unless it's really
That is sensible.
bad.
That is very good advice.
No.
That's brilliant advice
Well,
for
it
anyone
is, though.
listening. Never go to the doctors.
Unless it's really bad.
But that's why a lot of people, particularly working class people, die because they don't want to bother the doctor, or they're mildly embarrassed, or they don't know symptoms, bad symptoms. Go to the doctor if you're not sure about something. Like you were terrified to go and have your prostate.
Still not doing it.
Why not?
I wish you wouldn't talk about it, because now Suzanne will listen to this and she'll go, oh yeah, you haven't been, and start dragging it up again.
But why are you worried about a little a qualified doctor?
I don't know what they're doing up there.
What they just
What year are we in?
They. What are you talking about? They pop their finger up.
That's what I mean, though.
Why?
Well, it's 2006.
Yeah.
Why are they still using the index finger?
What, would you prefer the forefinger or the thumb, would you?
No, what I mean is, we've got...
Or a thumb on a stick, some kind of thumb on a stick.
Yeah, would you prefer it to
A
be
mechanical thumb, a robot thumb.
Why isn't it just a little camera? Or something that can...
Well, they put the camera up if they initially discover something.
But just put the camera up straight away.
No, they don't need to. They pop the finger up, feel that the prostate isn't swollen, wiggle it around a little bit up your back passage. What are you worried about?
I don't think they need to do
Are
that.
you
in this
embarrassed?
day
Are
and
you
age.
embarrassed about being in a room with your trousers around your ankles and a little fellow popping
A
his-
little bit, yeah.
Why?
And the other thing is, it's not just that, is it? So you go in there, they check your heart out and that, which to me is the most important thing, because that's what keeps you going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? You've got to go there. You
Yeah.
sat on the bus, stressing out, thinking, oh, in less than half an hour I'm going to have a finger up the arse, right?
What is the
And
problem?
you go in, they check your heart, they probably check your testicles and that.
What's up with that? They take your testicles, yeah?
Yeah,
That's
but it's all building, and you've sat there going, oh, soon that'll be happening.
Yeah.
And that's what puts me off.
So if they just came round when you were asleep, Suzanne just let them in and goes, he's over there, right? And they crept up and went, bang, you know what you're
prefer
doing?
I just don't understand why they don't teach you how to do it yourself.
How can they?
Wow.
How can they teach? Imagine you squatting in a corner with one hand on your bollocks and the other finger up the arse going, it seems to be alright.
Carl, you don't understand the phrase "a stitch in time saves 9." I don't think you should be doing any kind of invasive medical research in your own human body.
But then
Who knows what trouble you're going to cause?
No, but then at
You would
least
get stuck.
Yeah.
You would get stuck.
Susanna, come out, your fist will be up your own arse. I think it's probably time. Let me just check my watch. Yeah, it's monkey news time.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, yeah.
right. Last week we talked about the one who was good at getting up buildings and that for putting out fires and stuff. Ended up working for the fire department.
Yeah, not true, but
Sure. But if the building had good grippage, he was right up there.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not true, but go on.
So this week anyway, it's more about tall buildings and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was this bloke who was a builder.
Oh yeah.
Right. And you know what builders are like? They sort of move about, don't they, from sort of building to building, just building.
Well, yeah, well, once they've built it, the building's down and they move on to build some more.
Building to building, just
Where-
building, yeah.
So he goes to his next job and that, right?
Who does, the builder?
The builder.
Yep.
He goes to like the
The new
boss,
building.
the boss of this building who's building it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And he says what unto him?
Do you need anything building?
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he says, yeah, there's plenty of work and that going about.
Yep.
He says, we're working on this one here. He said, get going on it, like, there's your bricks and your cement and stuff, get on with it.
Yeah.
Any plans?
So
Just build.
Just start building.
Yeah. Go up.
they're getting on with it and stuff, it's all going well.
Yep.
But he notices that there's someone working high up, right, on the
Okay.
top bit.
Sure.
Because do you know, like, there's girders and stuff on these big
Yeah.
buildings.
Yeah.
And he's still building the bottom bit,
And
which
he's
is
still,
weird.
yeah. Well, that's the way they do it there, apparently, just to sort of speed it up, work from top to middle, from top to bottom.
Sure,
So,
that's in imaginary land.
We
So
put
anyway.
the spire on, and then we better do the foundations,
Yeah.
and then put some stuff in the middle to keep it up there.
So anyway, he's saying to, like, the other workers, he's going, who's that up there?
Who's that up
Like,
there?
He's working on his own.
The little fella, was he?
And,
The little hairy fella up there.
Who's the little hairy fella up there with the top, hard hat?
and the other fellas were going, look, you know, don't ask questions, you know, the boss decides who he takes on, we're happy to be getting paid here.
Don't ask questions! Well, I'll see him when he comes down.
So he said, well, it's pretty impressive, you know, the work rate he's doing, the way he's getting from one girder to the other.
Swinging, is he?
He doesn't seem to be scared of the heights or anything. He said, no, just let him get on with it, you know, we work well as a team. So anyway,
What nonsense is
So-
this?
so-
He believes all this.
Yep.
so he sees the boss and he goes, that fella up there, who's the fella up there? He's pretty good. And he's like, look, you know, just get on with the job, yeah, I'll pay you, let's just all get on with our jobs. Like. Lunchtime comes, they're all sat there, sat on a little wall having the sandwiches. He's thinking he'll come down in a bit. He's just carrying on.
Is he just still going?
Still going on that, right? So the fella says to the boss man, he says, isn't that fella up there going to come down and join us for lunch? He said, like I said, mate, don't worry about him, right? He
He's very secret. I'm suspicious about this fella. I don't know.
Yeah,
why-
I don't know.
I don't know why he's working through his lunch. I don't know why he's not scared of heights. And I don't know why he's swinging from girder to girder. It's weird. Go on.
So he said, oh, anyway, you've reminded me that he's up there. He said he's doing a lot of riveting and stuff up there. He probably needs some more nuts to...
Right, sure. And what kind of nuts is that? Is that nuts to food or?
So he said, what, nuts? He said, yeah, just there's a bag full of them there. Just put them on the hook, send them up, and he can get on with his job. So anyway, he picks these nuts up.
Nuts,
right?
yeah.
Just hooks them on. He thinks they're not that heavy,
No.
considering, you know, I mean, they're normally pretty heavy, aren't they? Like nuts
Big
and
bag of
bolts and
nuts,
stuff. So anyway, he has a little glance in.
Oh, no, what's in there?
Nuts.
What, you mean nuts that you can eat?
Nuts that you can eat.
Oh.
Right? So they send the bag up, and he's thinking, what's all that about? He checks him out, starts to stare, works it out. You can see that he's a little chimp running about. So he goes, I'm not happy with this.
Why isn't he?
Because he's working for an organisation that's, you know, there's unions for this sort of stuff, isn't there?
Yeah, he's not going, that's amazing. They've got a chimp riveting this building together.
Yeah.
That's not scary. He's wondering if they're breaking union rules.
So he
You
goes...
can half talk.
So he goes and has a word with
He
the boss.
goes to the boss and he goes, look, I've worked out what you're playing at here.
Yeah.
He said, all them
Is
out
the
there...
boss sitting in a tyre?
He said, all them lot out there might not be wise to what's going on here. He
Yeah.
said, but I've clocked it, and you're sending nuts up to it. It's a monkey, it's not on. So he goes, look, you know, we just all try to earn a living here. He said, don't get involved in it. I'm happy to pay you, but I'm paying him. Don't interfere.
He's paying him.
And he's saying, look, I'm just not happy with this. It's not allowed. So the boss was saying, well,
We
to be
pay
honest,
peanuts. We get monkeys.
he said, to be honest, mate, you know, he's a great worker. He's known for doing what he does. He's a good grafter. If one of you's going to go, right, I'm afraid I'll have to let you go because he's
Blimey.
been here longer than that.
Yeah.
He was made redundant.
None of
because
that
the monkey.
happened.
He was laid off.
None of that happened.
He's laid off and that. And that's
No.
where that saying about, you know, like there's a lot of tower blocks and that in America. It's like the chimp off the old block is where... So that's monkey news.
Thanks for listening to this podcast.
Who was it hosted by?
It was hosted by a great bunch of guys called Positive Internet. They host the #1 podcast in the world, The Ricky Gervais Show, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
Goodbye.
and Carl Pilkington.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited. The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Hello, welcome to the 8th in this series of 12 podcasts, The Ricky Gervais Show, with The Guardian. I'm Ricky Gervais. Hello, with me Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington.
All right.
So, thank you again for all your emails. We're getting thousands. We're up to about 250,000 hits a week now, people listening to this show.
Blimey.
250,000 people bothering to go in and listen to this show.
Nothing else in their lives.
All
Nothing
around the
better to
world.
do.
It's unbelievable, though. North America, Asia, South America, all over Europe, and thanks to everyone in England as well, where we do it from in a little room in London. Keep going to rickygervais.com and registering, because so when we finish these 12, we can email you when we come back and start again. We're going to need a little bit of time off to record the second series of extras.
Well, I'll tell you more than that, Rick. You're going to need some time off just to have a little breather, because I know how hard you work.
And you, mate.
Well, thanks, mate, but I mean, you blinking work hard.
But Carl's been on holiday again, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah, because, Carl, you don't do anything.
And you have weekends off. You take at least 5 or 6 weeks holiday a year, even though you haven't got a job now. You're meant to be doing this, and yet you still
So
go
your whole
holiday.
life's a holiday, basically.
Yeah, why do you need a holiday? You potter around. Your big day last week was going to the Cobblers. So why do you need a break so much this week?
It's just that, you know, it's good for your brain and that, isn't it? It opens it up a bit.
You are not evidence for that.
Where did you go?
Gran Canaria.
For a week?
Yeah.
Just sitting around?
Well, there isn't much else to do at Gran Canaria. I mean, I don't want to go slagging a place off, because every time I seem to talk about somewhere, get into trouble for it.
Right.
But it's just like a big rock. It's just volcanic, innit?
And you must have looked like a little barnacle on that.
Have you been there before?
Been near it before to another rock, which was just
But
it
why,
was the
you
same
had your
sort of
fingers
thing.
burned, why did you go there?
Because you think, well, they can't have loads of these islands that are the same, like just a big rock with hotels on. They can't get away with it. So you think,
They
well, the
obviously
next
are
one.
getting away with it. But why do you keep going to these places that are rocks? Why don't you investigate first? Ask your travel agent, is this a giant rock?
Because that's what you do, isn't it? You go and find out yourself. I mean, when Armstrong went to the moon, what was he expecting up there? That's a fact. That's a big rock, and he still went all that way.
I don't know what that point was.
So what I'm saying is, though, sometimes
Tell us about the moon landing. Well, as you started, what do you know about that? You know, because I mean, so far you've given us a lot of insight into the moon landing. So there was Armstrong.
There was Armstrong and that.
Yeah.
There was a fella called Buzz
Yeah.
and another bloke,
Yeah. Poor bastard.
Yeah, never remembered.
Yeah. Go on.
and they went up there, got out. 2 of them did. One of them didn't bother. The one whose name, don't know who he was. Didn't even get out to stretch his legs, right? Went all that way. They had a potter about, had a wander, came back again.
Yeah.
So that's all you need to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
In
they-
your opinion, pointless?
To me, yeah. But to them, I'm sure they had a good time, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just take the risk, don't you? Go and visit a place, make up your own mind.
And so, what do you make of this place? You enjoy it, Gran Canaria? It was just a big rock, but did you
I bet the moon was better.
Really?
What did you do?
It was just, you know, it's one of them. It's big hotel, which is that's where I made a mistake. It was one of those like big, massive places where there's loads of people, and you know, you go for your dinner.
That describes a hotel.
Yeah.
No,
Sounds
no.
like to me.
You've nailed that.
I've been to a few, that sounds like it.
No, but do you know what I mean? Though there's the nice small ones where it's just enough people, but this is like mental, and it was full of old people, really. I mean, that's probably why it's called Gran Canaria, right? Because it's just
Grannies
old people
everywhere.
yeah, right. But what I thought I'd start doing is start a diary.
Okay, why?
Just because I sort of had a bit of time on my hands and that. Just thought, write it down, write stuff down.
And do you hope that this one day will become one of the great literary documents like Samuel Pepys' diary?
I haven't heard of that, is it any good?
You've never heard of Samuel Pepys' diary?
No, but
The most famous diary other than probably Anne Frank's.
I've heard of Anne Frank's and that, and I thought if she's sat in a loft, knocking stuff up, not much going on in her life at that point, yet she was still writing it down.
Yeah. Whereas
So
you've
I'm
been to
on
Gran
holiday.
Canaria, yeah.
I thought, so there is stuff going on that I can chat about. Start a diary.
Sure.
You started a diary.
Yeah,
And what are you gonna do? Did you keep it up every day?
yeah, just.
Oh, can I read it, please?
Well, a diary is meant to be sort of.
Please, can I read some out on this podcast? Carl.
Some of it though is only relevant to me. It's sort of.
Oh, this is. Please give me it. Oh my God.
I mean, this isn't. I haven't just.
Look how big it is!
It's
Oh
one
my
of those
God.
desk diaries.
It's huge. It's about a foot long, and it's Oh, that is amazing. Imagine if Anne Frank had been like that. As she got out, right? Everyone would have heard it clank down on the desk.
Yeah, but my writing's quite big, isn't it?
Oh look! Give us that.
Oh,
Give us that.
Do you know about joined that writing? Have you heard
This
about
is
that?
no- Amazing.
Sometimes you can't read it, can you? So it's
Right.
best to.
Okay.
Look at ancient times.
Oh my God! It starts on the first day. This is wonderful. Going on holiday to Gran Canaria today. Woke up to the news that Tony Banks had died. There was a piece on the news about how everyone was shocked. Got me thinking about an invention. That was pretty good. Right, a watch that counted down your life. If it says you've got 3 days left, go to the doctors. Told Suzanne about invention. She said she wouldn't buy one, but she said that about the iPod.
How would this device work? This watch? I mean, how would you know when you were about to die? Is that again not for you to worry about? Presumably the boffins.
No, all I was thinking is that Tony Banks fella, he died and everyone was shocked about it. But if you had like a little watch on,
But how does it work? You can't just say, wouldn't it be good? How would this work? Yeah, I imagine you in the patent office going, got an idea. They go, oh, certainly, Mr. Pilkington, what's your idea? Watch that counting down your life. Oh, how does that work?
just pop it on your wrist.
No, what do you mean, just pop it on your wrist? How does it work? Just pop it on your wrist. Brilliant. You're an idiot.
Well, it's interesting that he goes on. The flight to Gran Canaria was a bit bumpy. I thought about the clock that counts down your life again, and I wondered if it would know if you were going to die in a disaster. No, he's querying his own design.
He's wondering if it would know. He's invented this.
And now he's not even sure. A fella on the plane was reading Koi Mag. It was a fishing magazine. I glanced over and noticed he was reading the Pond of the Month article. Don't think they could make it into a weekly magazine. Well, to be fair to you, because I remember seeing a guy on the train once, a magazine dedicated entirely to carp, and it had carp of the month. And I just thought, once you're like 3 months in, the editor must be stressing if we've got any more carp. If we've got a carp that's actually done anything.
I reckon if they used the same one twice, there wouldn't be many complaints.
No one would be noticing.
No, that's the carp they used 2 years ago.
There was a really fat bloke on the plane. He was playing on his PSP. While I waited to go to the toilet, I looked at what game he was playing. It was darts. He's that fat and lazy, he can't even face playing a more active game on a games console. Me and Suzanne got off the coach along with a couple of old people. One of them was in a wheelchair. I don't think it was wise of them to come to a volcanic island with a wheelchair. Everywhere's pretty rough, paving and slopey. Guess I'll keep an eye on it as the weeks go on. Day 2 in Gran Canaria.
Brilliant, we're only at day 2.
The hotel's a bit odd. I've never seen as many cross-eyed people in one location.
That's amazing!
Well, you may have to let me read on a bit more.
No, this is amazing.
Well, come back.
This is a brilliant diary. This might be the best diary ever written. Oh.
While sat listening to the Kinks on my iPod, I wondered if everybody thinks in their accent. I know I do. What's this? What are you talking about?
Just that. When I've been sat there lying on the lounger, right, I was thinking about stuff.
How do you know you think in your accent? Tell me a typical thought.
Because what I mean is, say if I was like, if I saw something, right? Do you know how I say like, oh, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
But
that was
I don't have
said.
to. But when you think, I don't think the sentence is like I'm saying it. It's just a thought. The thought appears. It's conceptual and it's already there. It's not like I go, Rick. Just looking at that fellow over there, were you? Yeah, I was. Yeah. I was thinking it looks a bit weird. Yeah, so was I. I don't think out whole sentences.
Whereas you have Carl, stop listening to the Kinks for a minute. Look over there. More cross-eyed people.
No, well that's
Is that how your mind works?
in a way, yeah. And
Brilliant.
that's when, because I thought,
It's great that he has to think about whole sentences.
because I thought that's weird, isn't it? Like I didn't think that's weird, isn't it? And I thought I actually think in the accent. And then I thought, does Stephen Hawking, does he, when he's doing his maths and that, is he? I don't know where he's from, so I don't know what his accent will be like.
I think he's from Kent or Cambridge or Oxford.
Right. So
you think he might think in his
voice, in that voice,
computerised voice?
Wondered.
Had lunch inside today due to shite weather. Sat next to an old fella. Old men's ears and noses carry on growing as they get older. Suzanne noticed his fingers were fat too. Maybe they continue to grow. Suzanne didn't laugh when I said her arse had the same problem. Day 3, cloudy start to the day. Had pie and chips in a cafe. Had a bit of an argument with Suzanne because I thought it was daft that we were paying for food when we were on an all-inclusive holiday. Changed my mind when I saw they sold pie though. The cafe was called Tattoos. The fellow who owned it didn't have any tattoos. But we never saw his wife. Had a drink in a bar. Everyone sat and watched one of the local cats lick its bollocks.
It's the greatest holiday in the world. That's the entertainment in that town.
Went back to the hotel, let her sleep before tea. I love the fact you're moaning about old people, but you're just as bad.
He done nothing so far.
He's done nothing, he's got a hip.
Oh God.
Woke up to news about ducks being badly treated. There was a really ugly one with bent legs.
I'm gonna die. Why does he write this down? Oh God. Oh.
There is a fat bloke from Bolton who was in the pool as I write this. He's got a big tattoo on his back, but I can't work out what it is. ... He just got out of the pool and burped. Just felt like you had to keep us abreast of that.
Everything's in the diary. I just seen it get to the point where you go, breathed in,
Yeah.
breathed out again.
There was a big fat fella in the sea who kept his t-shirt on. If you're big and fat, is there more chance of you getting burnt because there's more of you on show? I asked Suzanne and she said she didn't know in that sort of not listening kind of way. I wanted to hang about to see if the fat bloke was going to get in the kayak, but Suzanne said we had to head back. Just let him wait in to see if he's going to capsize. We got home today, so we got up early to get the last bit of cloud.
No, it's just that it wasn't. It's not that sunny all the time. I mean, I was sat in weather that if it was like that here, there's no way I'd be sat in the garden. But because you're on holiday, it's like, well, we've got to sit in it. Put your coat on.
So are you going to continue to write this diary? Every single day?
It's amazing. Keep this diary up. It's amazing.
No, I will keep it up, because what I find as well is, I think earlier on before I went away, I think I did learn something, and because I wrote it down, I remembered it a bit better. So
What was that?
I just was thinking then, I forgot it now, but I remembered looking back at it and not having to read it all, because I remembered the end of it before I read it, if you know what I mean.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, if you've enjoyed the diary of Carl Pilkington, more next week, I hope. Another week's worth. That's amazing. I'm going to try and get that published. We'll put the odd page up on the web. Go to rickygervais.com. Don't forget to register there as well, so we can email you and let you know what's happening.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Hey, fool! Don't give me no back chat, sucker! I ain't here to mess with you, I ain't getting in no plane. I'm here to tell you all about Friday Night Comedy on Channel 4. There's 3 great new comedies. New Green Wing, Yeah Fool, that's nearly ready. My Name is Earl, and The It Crowd. They're great new comedy from the creator of Father Ted, sucker. Friday Night Comedy this Friday on Channel 4, fool. Switch it on, or I'll be around your house. You stay up all night shivering, cause you be so mad scared. Fool.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Rick, who hosts this podcast?
The guys at Positive Internet, why?
No, I know you're a big fan of those guys.
Yeah, because they're brilliant.
Well, yeah, they are, and they'll tell you they're working overtime. Because we've had an email from Jake, who's the director at Positive Internet, and apparently he's been in touch with the editor of the Guinness World Records book.
All right.
And he's hoping to see if we can get this podcast in the Guinness World Record breaking section, or the podcast world record breaking section, or whatever they call it. I don't know exactly what record we'd have broken. I assume it's just sheer number of listeners, is it? Or
Yeah,
being the number one?
it's the number one podcast, and it's the biggest downloaded show ever at the moment.
Right.
I think that's because people have only had podcasts for a couple of years.
Yes, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know when the next issue comes out. I guess it's sort of December time.
I used to get the Guinness Book of Records every year. I love it.
I've never understood why it was such a big seller. I mean, presumably, who's excited to find out whether, I don't know, a man that can balance 3 egg cups on his head has beaten the record?
Well, they're real records as well, obviously. I used to go straight for that. I really loved the sort of animals, fastest, strongest, all that sort of thing, biggest.
But aren't they the same every year?
Well, no, they do change, and obviously there's new entries to keep it exciting. But what annoys me is that it looks like anyone can get in if you're willing to do something that no one else will bother with.
Yeah.
They did one on Big Brother where it was the stacking sugar cubes, and I was thinking, well, no one's going to bother beating that.
No.
There's people that walk along with a milk bottle on their head, and no one's going, oh, I'm a bit jealous of Bill. Why? He's broken the record. What? For walking along with with a milk bottle on his head. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to go into training tomorrow. They're ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, but I do like the real ones. There was one in there I got on a couple of years ago, and it was about disasters. And there was one where there was some big ornamental incense burners at this thing in I think Thailand or Korea or somewhere, and they fell over and they killed 7 of the congregation, and the headline was biggest joss stick disaster. Now again, there's no one trying to beat that. There's no one going, we need 8.
Yeah.
We need 8 people. We're going for it tonight. What do I have to do? You have to stand quite near those big joss sticks. Okay.
And what record am I breaking again?
We'll tell you after. Also, I think a lot of people waste their energy on this because there's one guy in there that can do the 100 metres in 11 seconds running backwards, and I want to say to him, turn round, because I think you'd be fast forwards. You know,
Yeah,
if you'd have only
yeah.
from the age of 10, sort of, you might be, you know, one of the fastest runners in the world.
Because you're never going to be considered one of the great athletes for doing it
No
backwards.
one knows about him. That's not going to ever be an Olympic sport, running backwards. Or, and now 100 metres. Oh, one of them's putting a milk bottle on his head.
yeah. This is one to watch. There was a guy in there. I've always been fascinated by the guy. He had the world's longest fingernails, and they were truly extraordinary. And they went out and they started to curl around, obviously. And in the end, they almost looked like sort of there was a big spiral of gnarled old fingernail. But I just thought it just seemed like such a terrible affliction, really, to be walking around, you know, with these giant fingernails. So much you can't do. Just missing out on, you know, Jeff, you coming bowling? I can't. You know, just so many different things that you miss out on. I've never quite understood who's willing to have this eat into their life. You know, it's going to take over their whole life just so they can have their photo in this book. It seems a very bizarre impulse. Carl, have you ever been tempted by any world-breaking attempts? Do you find them fascinating or futile?
I mean, you don't get paid or anything, do you?
No. They do it for the pride.
We'll say like the fella who can run with a milk bottle. Could he get a milk round? Do you know what I mean? I can understand that if you can use the skill, but like you say, if it's getting in the way of your life and that, then what's the point?
There was a kid at school who said, I'm in the Guinness Book of Records. I went, oh yeah. He said, no, I am. And he brought it in. And now I don't know if this is a valid claim. He claimed to have been in the audience for what, in this particular edition, was labelled, you know, the largest audience ever for a sporting event, some giant Super Bowl game in America. And he claimed to have been in the audience. Now, do you think he deserves to say he's in the Guinness Book of Records?
Well, sort of. I think that's a lot. As it was the largest audience ever, I think a lot of people can claim that one. I mean,
if he wanted to get a name check on doing that, he would have been best saying, I was sat in the audience in a bath of beans. Because then that would add to it, and you get a little, you know, they'd have you in the picture, wouldn't they? So,
he's Mr.
do it
Fit
that
there.
way. Yeah.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Harry from Canterbury wants to know whether any of us have ever had any cruel nicknames. He claims that he's quite tall and rather hirsute, and he says he's often called Lurch or Wolfie. He's always thought that Carl looks a bit like Mr. Potato Head.
yeah. No, there's no potato that round, but I suppose you could fashion a potato to be that round.
Yeah.
Maybe we could, if anyone can carve a potato into the roundest head ever, pop a couple of eyes on it.
Make it look as much like Carl as possible.
Exactly.
But yeah, any nicknames? Did you ever have a nickname, Rick?
No, mine was boring. I didn't have any. It was just around the name, like Jerv or something like that. No, I didn't have nicknames.
I always wanted a nickname. I just thought it was quite cool for some reason, particularly because gangsters always seem to have nicknames.
Lefty.
You know, Fingers,
Yeah.
Lefty, Scarface.
Yeah.
And so I decided that I thought, because no one was giving me a nickname at school, it was kind of annoying, well certainly not to my face,
Yeah.
that I decided to just come up with one.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was at lunch once, and I just said to my mate Phil,
How old were you?
12, 13.
Brilliant.
I just said to him, Phil, don't know if you know, mate, but people aren't calling me Steve anymore. Everyone's calling me Spud now. Now I don't know why I thought Spud. It's weird. We should talk about Mr. Potato Head. I don't know why I thought Spud was a cool nickname. I think
It's a
'cause
grown-up name, though, isn't it?
and it's also because I think it sounded like it was probably either something that you'd find in one of those kids' books, like the Famous Five, or like the Bash Street Kids. They'd be Spud, and I always imagine leader of the gang, but he's a reliable member.
I think
You know?
Spud is the biggest lorry driver in one particular sort of car park.
Yeah.
Here comes Spud.
Yeah.
And he gets out, all right, boys. And he's big and massive, and Spud can eat 2 breakfasts.
Exactly, yeah. But I just, in my mind, it was, that I would be one day part of a gang, and I'm Pinky, this is Jojo, and the tall guy Spud.
And you didn't catch on, did it?
really caught. And he just went, oh yeah, right. And no one started. And I was hoping he'd go, everyone's calling Steve Spud.
Yeah.
But of course,
hey, Spud. The first time I said Spud, you go, what?
yeah, exactly.
You'd be really proud, wouldn't you?
But I think that it kind of actually, in a way, it probably revealed that I just was probably not in people's thoughts enough to get for the nickname to catch on, because you sort of need to be a real player in the school.
I think you should have gone something more memorable. I mean, I'm not saying you're not like freak or anything.
Yeah, right.
No, just.
No, it's good advice, Fatty. Fatty pot
That's
belly.
the problem. I wasn't fat at school, and I suppose Carl didn't have a round bald head at school, did you?
No.
No.
Did you have a nickname?
Not really. I mean, there was a lot of people on the estate that I grew up on. Nicknames are big things on estates and that.
Yeah.
A lot of my dad's mates, right? What their nicknames did was tell you about them. Do you know how I said about the Elephant Man's a good name?
Yeah.
Because, you know what you're going to get. If someone said, Elephant Man's popping around in a bit, it wouldn't be a shock when he walked in.
Yeah.
Right? So it worked in that sort of thing. So there was John the Screw, right?
John the Screw?
Yeah.
Whether he had sex a lot or he worked in a prison.
No, he had a DIY shop. so you had him, right? There was Fred the Veg.
Yeah.
Which is.
I assume it's because he was at the same IQ as you.
Or he was in a coma.
Yeah.
Right.
There was my uncle, Tattoo Stan.
All right.
Yeah. He had like loads of tattoos that he'd just done himself.
Oh my God.
The problem was, because he did his tattoos himself, the ones on his left arm were really good. Because he was right-handed. On his right arm, rubbish. Right? So there was him.
Ah, great.
And there was Jimmy the Hat.
Jimmy the Hat?
Yeah.
Did he always wear a hat?
No, he didn't. That was the point there. That he never wore a hat.
That's amazing. Brilliant. How can you pick up on someone never wearing a hat? How would you ever notice? I'll tell you what, I've noticed something about Jimmy. What?
Go on.
He doesn't wear a hat. Why was he not called Jimmy the Parrot? Because he never carries a parrot.
No, but that's just the way. I mean, that's how they work. Here
Here comes Jimmy Three Legs. Why'd you call him that? He hasn't got 3 legs.
I didn't really have one apart from I had a CB. Like when you'd go on a CB radio and have a chat to people.
Oh, this was a craze in the was it late 70s, early 80s?
Early 80s.
And it was just short band radio, wasn't it? Everyone had these little handsets and they'd speak to each other in the sort of local area.
Yeah, it was mainly. I think it started off with like
lorry
truckers
drivers,
and
isn't it? Yeah, truckers. Yeah, because there was that thing from like about 1970.
Convoy.
It was Convoy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had one of them, and my handle. I had 2
Handle
different names.
is your nickname. Your
Yeah,
name.
there's loads of code stuff.
Yeah.
I had a couple. There was Pilkey 01, because like I said, there's a lot of Pilkingtons and that in Manchester. So I just thought, give it a number. If someone wants Pilkey 02, it's open. Do you know what I mean? They can have it. And then
that is people scrabbling. I want a Pilkey 01.
And then because I did boxing and that.
Well, you did it once.
Yeah.
I'd Boxer Boy, because I thought that's quite a good image as well. That's kind of like people going, oh, don't mess with him. Do you know what I mean? If he asks what your handle is, tell him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Boxer Boy and that.
Yeah.
So just had them 2, and I used to just go on there and.
Pointless. What is the point of this?
Well, you just meet people, don't you?
And you don't meet people. You say, "What's your handle?" You go, "Box Boy." What's yours? Rubber duck. All right, cheers.
No,
That's
but
ridiculous.
then you'll say like, then you go, oh, what's your 20?
What's that mean?
That's where are you?
Well, why didn't you say where are you?
Because just in case there's someone who's listening in who you hear about this all the time, don't you? People listening, jotting stuff down.
Oh, right. So just in case someone in the world doesn't know what handle means, they're out of the loop. They're out of the loop.
It's not a difficult code to crack, is it? If
Yeah.
you're trying to track someone.
It's hardly the head of the mafia talking to each other because the FBI are on the wire. It's ridiculous. Like I go, oh, you keep saying that, what's your handle? And they come back with something else. I can't work out what's going on.
No, it's like anything, isn't it? That's what codes. That's what codes are all about, isn't it? You set them up and that.
Go on and tell me the code then.
Reveal at long last to the world what
Yeah.
these codes are.
Right. So,
Yeah.
what's your 20? Where are you?
This is better than the Enigma.
Yeah.
Right. Now here we go.
Right.
How many candles are you burning?
Does that mean how big's your car or something like that? Horsepower or something?
See? No, that's.
Oh,
how old
what
are you?
time is it?
No, how old are you?
What hour do you? Okay.
Right.
Right.
How many candles are you burning, of course?
Yeah.
So what's the answer come back?
You go,
I'm 15.
14.
Brilliant. That code, there's no one going to work that out. There is no one going to work that one out.
So let's just play through this conversation. Give us an example of how it worked.
Right, so you turn it on and that, and you start off, and there was something that you said at the start, like
Hello.
just
Breaker.
Yeah, breaker, do your copy or whatever.
Yeah.
Then someone will go,
What does what copy mean?
No,
His name
I want
does.
to hear because I want to hear the fascinating conversations that Carl must have had.
Yeah.
and you go, alright, it's Boxer Boy, yeah?
What's
He
your
goes,
20?
What's your 20? And you go, well, just I'm in Manchester.
In the flat. Oh,
And you go, alright, yeah. How many candles are you burning? You go, 13.
Oh.
So
That's the end, is it?
then you might sort of say what was it? Something like what am I burning? Right?
Using burning again.
Confusing, but you're on, yeah. What am I burning? The bacon, because I'm busy talking to you twat.
That's like what's my power? What strength am I coming in at?
Oh yeah.
Because then you can tell if they're quite close to you. So if you're
Yeah.
getting someone burning a 1,
We've told them. We said, wait, what's your 20? You go, I'm in Macclesfield Street.
Yeah, but then- but then you
Wonder
go-
where they are. We've just told you. Wonder how far away they are.
but then you go, oh, that's interesting because you're burning, burning 3. I don't normally get a 3.
The least interesting hobby
Do you know what
could ever do.
I wish you'd have kept a diary of this because this has been fascinating.
Now and again, someone will come in and go side on, right?
What's that mean?
And that means like there's someone sat there listening into this chat and going, this sounds interesting.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
And they want to join in, so they sort of go side on, you go side on, bring it in, right? And they go, alright.
How many candles are you burning?
Yeah. What's your 20?
That's the clues round again.
Yeah.
See you later. What's your 20? How many candles are you burning?
Oh.
I mean, it seems to me that what you should have done is made a note the first time, so that when you then speak to them again, you don't need to ask them those questions. Can I just confirm that you're burning 15? It's that time again. Do the jingle.
Okay. I'm gonna do a really good one.
Okay, go.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, yeah.
Right, do you know it's nearly time for the Winter Olympics again?
Okay.
Is it? Okay.
They sort of come round every 4 years.
Is it this year? Is it?
Yeah. And the last one that happened,
4 years ago. Yeah.
there was a bit of an incident.
Oh no.
Oh well, I'd know about this thing because it would be
Well, it'd be big news because it's a well-known.
televised as well.
Yeah.
It's,
Do you remember any winners that were monkeys? In any of the
No,
tournaments?
of course not.
No.
So
So
it's
anyway-
not going to be that because it wouldn't be true. Go on.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the popular events, bobsleigh.
Okay. Right.
It works.
Well, you
It's
need
like a
4 men.
sled.
Is it 4 men or 5?
4 men.
It's 4. There's definitely 4 men that you need.
You need
on
4
a
men.
team.
Is it and there's two team bobsleighs.
But they're always men. Is that right, Rick? Well,
yeah, that's good.
Anyway, so
human.
Well, that's be human. Yeah, it's the Winter Olympics for.
Yeah. So let me just clarify. With the Winter Olympics, you can't have any animals taking part.
No, and they also because they wouldn't be allowed. And 2, there's no way they could disguise it because not only would they see it straight away, right, but they have blood tests.
Well, okay. So
Which would show up.
So they definitely know if it was
They have blood
anything
tests. It's
non-human.
impossible. It would be literally impossible to have anything other than a human involved in a bobsleigh team.
Fine. Okay. So carry on.
So anyway, this country, I don't want to name them because they try to shake off this sort of, this bad news.
Oh yeah, and you don't know. It's not true.
So anyway, the country was doing really well in the qualifying stages.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem was there was like 2 members who were getting all like the press and stuff,
Oh right, yeah.
and one of them never got a look in. Right?
How tall was it?
Anyway, so this one member was getting fed up because the other 2 were getting all the press and what have you. So he said, I'm not happy with this.
Yeah.
I'm jacking it in. So they were like, you're joking, we've qualified, we're getting into like the main race and everything. You can't leave us now. And he said, well, you could do it all on your own before. The way you were acting, like you didn't need me. So I'm going. So they were like,
And they need to replace him because there's a certain amount of people needed.
So anyway, so the clock's ticking. It's getting close to the big race and everything.
Of course it is, yeah.
They're like, what are we going to do here?
Substitute they took with them.
What are they
Well,
going
they
to
must
do?
have. Yeah, they'll take their substitute. So
No, they didn't have any of them, and it's, a lot of injuries and stuff.
Or just get a mate to do it. Just get a mate or a friend or the coach to do it. Yeah.
But there's a lot of responsibility on these people, and you won't want to let your country down and that. And like, what are we going to do?
Get a waiter or anyone.
Anyway, the time comes for the race. Seems to be 3 people on it.
There appears to be 3. Okay.
They start off, they're whizzing around the track faster than normal. They're beating their old records.
Right, amazing.
Because the new fella they've got a little bit smaller. Right,
Is he in the bobsleigh? Or is he pushing?
He's in it.
Oh, right, okay.
Right.
He's wearing a uniform and a helmet.
He's got a helmet on. He's got the kit on. Nobody knows who he is, but the country's loving it. They're like, well, it looks like we're going to break all our records. Good. It's good that they found someone new.
Yeah.
Bet the other fella who left is sort of kicking himself, thinking, I could have been part of this. Anyway.
This wasn't that bloke that had very short legs and long arms, was it?
Anyway, what happened is they're whizzing round the track and what have you.
Faster than ever, yeah.
Faster than ever, and the press are like going, beating our records here. They started taking photographs. A lot of flashing. A lot of flashes from the cameras and stuff.
Right, of course.
Suddenly, the bobsleigh goes a bit sort of mental and whizzes off the track, right, into like all the tyres and stuff that they have for protective.
Oh, they love tyres, don't they? Bobsleigh members. Some of them sometimes you can find them swinging in one, or maybe eating a banana.
Ambulance comes rushing over and stuff. The other 2 members are looking pretty nervous for some reason.
What are they doing?
They're saying, look, don't take the helmet off because you can do more damage to the
Well,
neck.
don't tell the paramedics how to do it.
They know their job.
Yeah,
They know their job.
So they were like, just and plus, he doesn't. He came in at last minute to help us out. He doesn't want everyone to know who he is. He's not after the limelight, like some of the members we used to have. But he just was helping his country out.
Yeah.
Leave the helmet on. Anyway, they get him in the ambulance and stuff. The other 2 are looking a bit worried and what have you. They're gutted. They lost the race.
The little bloke, is the bloke not saying anything? Is he not?
He's in the ambulance now.
Is he not saying anything though?
Anyway, word got out. Right, from one of the ambulance drivers a few weeks down the line, once all the dust had settled on the Olympics and stuff, and like Newsday and stuff.
Yeah.
It was reported that one of the ambulance drivers said that on that sort of dreadful night, when the country lost out on a medal in the bobsleigh, he sort of reported that there was a monkey in the back of the ambulance. People were like going, you're joking.
I don't remember this.
Well, this is it, you see, because they sort of swept it under the carpet a little bit.
Right.
They were like, this is crazy talk. This is crazy talk.
Once talk, absolute shit. Where'd you get this from?
This is crazy talk, right?
It is crazy talk, and it's from the mouth of Carl Pilkington.
But the weird thing is that backed it up. Following week, there was a story of some people who saw a chimp in a neck brace. And that's this week's Monkey News.
Bollocks.
Hasta la vista, baby. I'll be back. I'm here to tell you about Friday Night Comedies on Channel 4. There's 3 great comedies. New Green Wing, it's nearly ready. My name is Earl and the It Crowd, the great new comedy from creator of Father Ted. Get your ass to Mars. Friday Night Comedy this Friday on Channel 4. Switch it on. I'll be back. Uzi 9mm. Cause I did it a divorce.
Well, that's the end of another podcast. Thanks very much from me, Ricky Gervais, with me, Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye.
And Carl Pilkington.
Right.
And thanks again to those guys at Positive Internet who host this podcast, the world's #1 podcast. We'd also like to congratulate Steve Carell from the American office, who won a Golden Globe.
Yes, congratulations, Steve, and obviously everyone involved with the American office. And for our American listeners, if you haven't checked out the American office on NBC, it's dynamite. It really is a cracking show. I don't know if you're a fan of the original, but if you are, or even if you're not, just watch it. It's great. It gets better and better week by week.
It's absolutely brilliant. That's NBC. I think that's Thursday nights, isn't it?
After My Name Is Earl.
That's got to be the first time a Golden Globe has been won by 2 different people for the same character.
I think you're probably right, mate.
Cheers.
Hey, congratulations again for winning it all those years ago.
2.
All right.
2.
I don't need to mention
1, 2. Bye.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited. The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to another Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington. The 9th in a series of 12 podcasts we're doing for free.
Absolutely free of charge.
We're getting, we've already done over sort of 2.5 million downloads. We'll probably do 4 million downloads by the end of the series. If I had a quid...
I don't even want to discuss it, Rick.
You are gutted,
I'm
aren't you?
absolutely furious, because I said to you when we studied this, I said, why, you were going, oh, let's give something free back to the fans, and I was saying, it's not worth it, they don't deserve it. But no, you demanded it, and I wanted to pay, I want to charge crazy money for
I've
it.
been a fool. We've had about something like 6,000 emails as well. If we could channel this to good, because you know what I mean, this internet has been set up, billions and billions of dollars go on this cyber highway back and forth, doing good stuff, communicating, sending people into space, commerce, and people, hundreds of thousands of people are sending me pictures of Carl as a monkey.
I know, exactly.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's not what this system was created for.
Thank you for all your emails as well. That cost us as well a little bit because they're going through the website, which costs us a little bit of money.
It also costs me my precious time, having to wade through the crap that gets sent to us.
Thanks to Kieran Gabriel from Merseyside who sent me a picture of Carlos Bruce Willis. It's the effort. We'll put all these up on the website. David Weinstein has started his own t-shirt range, I could eat another night. And Paul Devon has sent me this caricature of Carl. And it's brilliant. Again, I think they're wasting their energies. It's actually a brilliant painting of a little round, bald-headed mank, some sort of like freak creature.
Yeah.
Whereas he could have done a beautiful painting, but thanks to all those.
I have actually waded through the emails, and I obviously, again, like Ricky, I echo the thanks for sending in all the different questions and comments about the show. And there's so many, it's impossible to obviously even reply to them or talk about them, but a couple of that have struck me. Emily from New York has asked Carl this. Carl, if you were on a sinking ship, or you were in a burning building, and you were with myself and Ricky, but you could only save one of us, I don't know why that's the case, but you can only save one of us,
Yeah.
Who would you save? Would it be Ricky or would it be me?
I think it's a two-man dinghy.
Right, okay.
Possibly. And we're trapped, and he knows that if he stays there to get both our legs out from under this thing,
The girder.
yeah, he dies. So he's got room. He's got time to save one. It's obviously me.
It's hard to say, isn't it, at this point?
Because Steve's in the room, you mean?
Well, no, just because we don't know what the situation is.
Okay, well, let's say we're on a sinking ship, alright? So you're going to have to rescue one of us, drag us into the
It's going under. You know, in 30 seconds, okay, this ship's going to go under and drag you down, and you're going to die, right? And our legs are trapped, and you've got enough time to untangle one set of legs. Whose legs do you untangle?
Now, just because my legs are long does not necessarily mean it's more complicated.
No, it's exactly the same amount of time. Just have to make a choice. A terrible choice that Steve would not, hate you for.
Well, no, listen,
We won't be around for long. He's going to drown in 30 seconds. We'll get him.
So bear in mind this, Carl, you are going to be stuck in a dinghy with Ricky Gervais, and who knows how long that's going to take. Think of all the head squeezing that's going to be going on, the comments, the wind up. And do you honestly think that he's going to, if there's any provisions, that he's going to split them evenly with you? I mean, he's going to have drunk all the water, and there's only going to be about half an hour in. The food's going to be gone. Look at his gut. Look how much, of the food he's going to have to eat, the baked beans that you've got on board. Whereas me, you know how generous I am. I'm always sort of...
Oh, there we go, Carl. I think he's put the nail in his own coffin there. You know how generous I am, Carl. Let's talk about that, Carl. Come on, think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I've forgot that, actually. The time when we went for a coffee, and we had to have a bit of a heated debate about the 50 pence change.
Yeah, you owed me 50p, and you decided you didn't want to give it to me because it was only 50p. And my point was, it's not a question of 50p, it's the fact that it's not your decision to decide not to give it to me. If I want to be generous, that's my decision. But you can't go, oh, it's only 50p, Steve.
It's my decision. It was
But you just given him a free keg of beer.
But that did not come to you, and you didn't pay for the free keg of beer. It was a promotional thing that was sent to you.
It's the same thing as the way I gave Suzanne my leaving present from my last job.
A lot of people may not be aware of this if they haven't heard us talking about it before. Yes, but you had a gift from your work as you were leaving after however many years of service, which you then gave straight to your girlfriend without telling her that it had been received from people at work.
Doesn't matter, she wanted a camera. It's the same thing as you. You wanted that lager that I got for free. It hasn't cost you anything. It doesn't matter where I got it from.
So you now decide, because you've given me a free Curtis Lager that you can now say, oh, actually, I'm not, in the future, I'll just take your money, Steve, on a whim.
Listen, stop arguing us. You're rocking the dinghy. Carl, have some of my cheese.
Imagine if he would. Do you imagine he would ever say that? Do you imagine him ever offering you any of his cheese?
Are you going to save Carl, mate?
I don't want to say.
Can we say on the website? Can you just do a little explanation of why on the website? Can they? We'll think about it and.
I might do a sort of a for and against or something, and then sort of so the conclusion is
Okay, alright.
something like that.
Go to rickygervais.com.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Hasta la vista, baby. I'll be back. I'm here to tell you about Friday night comedies on Channel 4. There's 3 great comedies. New Green Wing, it's nearly ready. My name is Earl and the It Crowd, the great new comedy from creator of Father Ted. Get your ass to Mars. Friday night comedy this Friday on Channel 4. Switch it on. I'll be back. Uzi 9mm. Cause I did a divorce.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Well, I've been waiting for this for a week. It's a regular feature now. When we read from Carl's diary. Carl decided to keep a diary. He's gone through with it. I can see it there. It's massive. It's a huge desk diary that he has to carry around with him. And the pages are getting full up. You're really keeping to this.
Yeah.
Right, this is extracts from Carl's diary.
Did podcast and went for an Italian with Ricky and Steve. The Italian place is good. We've been there a few times. I always have the same thing, spaghetti. I can't remember what everyone else had. Last time we went there, Steve had little octopuses with pasta. You could see that they were octopuses. They hadn't been cut up or anything. My rule is that I only eat stuff that looks nice when it's alive. A cow, a chicken, some fish. An octopus is an odd-looking thing alive. Even worse when it's dead and limp. It looks like it just shouldn't have been sat in the spaghetti.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ricky drew another picture of my head. We've given a few of them away as prizes, but he draws so many of them that they won't be worth as much anymore. Everyone will eventually have one. Like those pictures of a boy crying that caused houses to burn down in the 1980s.
What does that mean?
What are you talking about?
Don't you remember if you're listening in America, they might not have made it over there.
Is it the sort of like the sugary ones with kids? Like, is it Techikov or something?
It's just some kid. My auntie Nora had one, and it was just like a kid with like a blue jumper on, and it's like a painting, not a photo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he's just
Like
crying.
a chocolate box, really awful, sort of sugary.
And what happened is they found out that a load of houses were being set on fire or burst into flames, whatever. And the weird thing was,
Oh, it's bollocks.
every house that burnt down had that photo.
Yeah, because every house had that picture in the fucking 70s and 80s. Idiot. It's like, we're linking it to sinks. Every house that's ever burnt down had a sink. You're talking shit again. Carry on.
Wednesday. Saw a homeless bloke. I'm surprised that no companies have thought about sponsoring the homeless. Something like a clothing company. Give them some clothes that have an advert on the back. Everyone's a winner.
Good idea.
Got on the tube to Camden. Read in a free newspaper that hedgehogs could be gone by 2025. I think I've seen more dead hedgehogs than alive ones anyway, so I don't think I'll miss them. Went round to Ricky's house and had a game of pool. It should have been nice and relaxing, but Jane gave me some cake and Ricky said I can't play pool if my hands are all sticky from cake.
It was the sugar, and it wasn't that either. After he'd finished it, they weren't just sticky, he was licking his fingers, sucking his fingers off, and then was going to pick up pool cues and touch things, and I was thinking, go and wash your hands after licking your hands. You're not a cat.
This turned into an argument when I said I didn't want to wash my hands.
Why didn't he?
He goes for a piss all the time without washing his hands and then squeezes my head. I know I prefer to have lemon cake crumbs on my head than knob juice. Was going to do a crossword, but I'm tired and have learnt enough today.
What have you learned?
Well, stuff about hedgehogs and that.
Was on my way to a mate's and I got on a train. Got close to a station but realised I needed a wee. Was about to go in a cubicle when a blind man with a dog who was bumbling his way through the walkway came around. I said, "Are you after the toilet?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "It's on your right." I shouldn't have let him go first, as he took ages, and it would be my stop soon. The dog waited outside the cubicle. I was going to stroke it, but then I remembered someone telling me that you shouldn't. Don't know
Why
that
not?
is.
Because something to do with the owner should be the only one who sort of deals with that dog, and you shouldn't.
So you shouldn't stroke it because you'll cover it in fucking lemon cake.
No, but just because if you stroke it and that, it might like me and want to go off with me, and he'll come out and be lost and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not totally sure, but I just thought.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
A few people have sent this in, including Paul the Party Animal Parker. I wonder if anyone else in his school... I mean, for some reason we've just assumed he's in school. I don't think there's any actual proof of that. But do you think...
I reckon he left in June, and he's doing sort of bits and pieces, but he's still a party animal.
Do you think he can hold down a job? Is he just partying so hard that...
He can hold down a job. He often arrives late,
Sure.
and the boss, who's in over, will go, "Parker, you're late again." He goes, "Yeah, talk to the hand." Yeah.
I think that he's the sort of guy that he'll just happily say, "Listen, I survive on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to work, I've not slept at all."
But I think he comes in with his headphones blaring, right, on a skateboard, and the bloke goes up to him, the old bloke, and the bloke goes, You stupid idiot, you can't..." He goes, "Chill out, man," and in 2 minutes, he's got him dancing.
Oh, I know what he's like. Yeah, he is just like, he just can't resist it, because he's just a fun guy. Yeah. Anyway, Paul and a few other people have sent in this piece of information they've discovered from one of the more respected news networks. The headline is this: female kidney turns lumberjack onto housework.
Right.
Now, a Croatian lumberjack apparently has claimed that he started enjoying housework and knitting after he was given a female kidney. He claims he's going to sue his local health authority because he says he's become a laughingstock. He used to enjoy heavy drinking sessions and things. The kidney transplant saved his life, but they never warned me about the side effects. I've developed a strange passion for female jobs, like ironing, sewing, washing dishes, sorting clothes in wardrobes, and even knitting.
Well, if he likes it, what's the problem? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Hold on, though. What makes me laugh is he's become a laughing stock. So what do you do when you become a laughing stock? Tell the newspapers.
Well, yeah.
Tell the newspapers about it, because then that'd keep it completely under wraps.
But
Then.
it's the sort of medical nonsense that Carl would normally come out with.
Absolutely. That you take on the personality of the person who gave you their blood.
Exactly. It's like those old horror stories. You get given a murderer's hand.
Yeah.
You go around killing.
But there can be certain medical things that would change the way you think and would change you as a person. Say like how they can do face transplants now.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't quite understand how this face transplants work, because do you get a choice of who you have? If you have something done to your face and you go, it's burnt or whatever, or something happens to you and you need a face transplant.
Well, if you totally changed your appearance, then you would eventually change because of how people reacted to you.
Yeah, but
so if you gave yourself the head of an elephant, soon you wouldn't be yourself.
I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have that. That's what I'm saying. If they had a catalogue and they said, "Here's some faces you can have. Pick which one you want."
Yeah.
Would you be looked upon badly if you go, "Do you know what? I don't really like the look of any of them. Can I just wait for a better face?" Or at this moment in time, have you just got to take what's on offer?
Carl, there's no one looking through catalogues at faces they might be able to have. In
No,
the
they
face
do
tra-
now because of the face transplant thing.
But who are these people putting their face up for? They wait till someone.
Yeah, I know, but at some point, well, I tell you what, I would not have a face transplant if I haven't seen the face before I'm going to have it. I want to see what I'm having, because I could end up with anything. You mentioned elephant's head. What do you know what I mean? Whose head are they going to use? Is it the latest thing that's died? Oh well, this got run over before. Yeah, I'll stick this on your head.
Where did this come from? Where is
his mind?
Where are these faces queuing up to be popped on a skull? Where do you think they have got time to put all these?
Maybe this is why it won't catch on. I don't know.
This is extraordinary. You've created in your own head the existence of this pamphlet, and now you're defending it, even though we don't know it even exists.
You're this skull on a hospital bed going, "I'm not having that. I don't like the look of him. He looks a bit shifty. I don't like that."
Can I ask this now? Let's say we'd passed away sadly in something terribly tragic. The nation's mourned. It's terrible. It's like one of the great national disasters. But you, at the same time, you survived the accident, okay, but your face is hideously disfigured. You can take either Ricky's face or mine to have.
I'm surprised you're asking this though, Steve. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like any of them is like a great option.
Oh, thanks.
And this is what I'm saying about the catalogue. If those two were on offer, I might go, do you know what? Pop in again tomorrow. Bring in another book club.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
This is from Anne-Marie Melvin in Amsterdam. She says that she loves the podcast. She listens with her 7-month-old baby. That cannot be a good idea. And she says this to you, Carl. If you had children, what is the most important lesson you'd want to teach them?
I mean, in a way, if you sort of look after a kid too much, it doesn't learn that much. But if you let it learn by its mistakes, it'll probably grow up alright.
But there are some mistakes you can't afford it to make to learn from.
Yeah, driving a car the wrong way down a motorway.
Testing if the fire really is hot.
No, but say like the time...
Does broken glass really taste horrible? These are lessons you don't want it to learn from mistakes.
You can tell them that.
Yeah,
but what I mean is, there's certain things that I just think there was a kid who grew up in our avenue, right, on the estate, who, when it was born, right, we kind of thought it's got no chance, this kid, because its mum was a bit of a rumman. You know,
rumman. Where's that?
No, just like, you know, she like going out and having a fag and like having a drink, and she's never at home. It's the one who had the horse in the house,
Sure.
which I don't want to go over.
Sure, it's old news.
It's out there, isn't it, if you want to find out about the horse in the house. But she had a kid, and everyone was pretty surprised when they saw it, because it was a good-looking kid. She was surprised, because, like, you know, the man wasn't that good-looking, the dad was a bit rough. But it came out, and she was showing it around the avenue, going, look at this I've had. And she was chuffed with it, because it's probably, like, one of the newest things she's ever had, because everything else was always sort of second hand and what have you, but suddenly she's got this brand new little baby, right? Anyway, as it grew up, right, those looks went. And I'm not talking getting old, I'm talking by the age of about 3. It looked rough already, right? And all that just happened because that's the life it was in, right?
Yeah.
So like it had like a patchy head. Its hair.
It had a patchy head.
A patchy head. It's just sort of.
It wasn't a North American Indian. What do you mean, patchy head?
Just his hair was patchy. He used to chase sort of cars and stuff.
Chase cars. Sorry. What do you mean?
That's what he did for his.
Sorry, did she let it get raised by wolves?
No. But all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what is it that makes a person? Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know what state he's in now, but maybe he learned all his mistakes by the age of 4. I'm guessing he's not chasing cars now, but at least he's done it.
I'm guessing he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least you can go, yeah, I've been there, done that, and you don't go back to it, and you can get away with doing dafter things when you're a kid, can't you? I nearly killed a man once, right?
Oh, okay, right.
Well, that time when I was in Wales, and I was having a walk with my dad on the cliffs and that, I just picked up a big rock, right, chucked it off the edge, and as I chucked it off the edge, I noticed a fellow was walking down below.
Jeez.
And I missed his head by like inches. Now, I've never chucked a rock off a bridge or like off a cliff or anything.
And it only took one man to almost lose his life for you to learn that lesson.
Yeah, but that's how you learn your lessons, isn't it?
See, a lot of people would have said that maybe your dad should have said, "Hey, Carl, what are you doing?"
No, but he didn't know I was doing it. I didn't say I'm going to chuck this off here. I just picked it up and chucked it. And like, as I let go of it, I noticed a fellow was down there. You live and you learn. That's a little mantra.
Right.
You live and you learn. So the woman who's had the kid, sort of look after it, feed it, make sure it's got shoes and that, but let it roam about.
That's great.
There's the advice for you, Anne-Marie.
I love that.
Good luck, just let your 7-month-old baby roam about.
Hey, fool! Don't give me no back chat, sucker! I ain't here to mess with you, I ain't getting in no plane! I'm here to tell you all about Friday Night Comedy on Channel 4. There's 3 great new comedies. New Green Wing, Yeah Fool, that's nearly ready. My Name is Earl, and The 8 Crowd. They're great new comedy from the creator of Father Ted, sucker. Friday Night Comedy this Friday on Channel 4, fool. Switch it on, or I'll be around your house. You stay up all night shivering, cause you be so mad scared. Fool.
Carl, a lot of people are absolutely fascinated to find out how you met Suzanne, your girlfriend of how long?
Ages.
Yeah. And they can't comprehend how. Well, I suppose that there's any woman out there.
Well, there's someone
Who
for
would-
everyone, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's always my thing, and it's reassuring. I think we chatted about the face transplants and that. There's a face for everyone.
Philosophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really unbelievable.
No, there is someone for everyone, no matter what
Yeah.
condition you're in or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I read on the email, someone emailed in an old Chinese proverb.
Is it old though? You know the Chinese proverbs don't age well.
It's something about everyone, everything, no matter what it is, has got one talent, right? And that's the same way in a relationship, innit? That everyone, there's always someone out there. And that I like the Chinese. There's another Chinese proverb that I learned on an email.
Go on.
He who cuts the wood up warms himself twice.
Yeah, it's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then someone sent in that one about too many Chinese cooks spoil the broth.
Why that's I don't know who slipped the word Chinese in there, but I heard there's too many cooks.
Well, it was just all sort of Chinese proverbs and that.
One of my favourite on the same subject is a camel is a horse designed by committee.
What do you mean?
Well, it's having a go at the camel, and it shouldn't. But it's just it's just a metaphor. And if you wanted to design a horse and you had that vision, but you let 12 people in the room have their say, it wouldn't come out as you wanted it to do, and it wouldn't be as good. A vision is more perfect than committee, because everyone having their say, it becomes anodyne, it becomes compromised. Whereas the best things you can do is have an idea and have a vision and auteur that.
Rick, can I just say now, I can tell from his look that he's thinking, which committee designed the camel?
Well, I'd say, why would you request the ump bit? Because that's just going to get in the way, isn't it? I've always said that about a lot of animals. It's like we've doubled up on a lot of them. We've chatted about elephants and mammoths, one or the other. And that's the same with a camel. I'd have that up there as what they're doing. They were good years ago in the Jesus times and that. Don't need them now. You know what I mean? We've moved on.
Well, not people who use camels to cross deserts.
What other? I'm
communities.
going to throw some animals at you, and you tell how you'd have improved them if you'd have been designing them. Okay? The octopus.
So I can now go back. I can look at them and go, what are they doing?
And where have they gone wrong? What's up with it? How could you improve it? Like the camel, you go lose the ump.
I'd probably give it a bit more of a body. Cut down on the arms. And give it some bones, because I don't understand all this. Getting in a jar is good. When does it want to get in a jar? It says
Well, it only wants to get in a jar according to your stories.
no, but there's something that says it can get in a jar because it hasn't got any bones. But I don't know why it want to do that in the first place.
I can't even begin to answer that. Once again, you've claimed that you've read that they like to get in jars. I mean, how do they know that octopus like to get in jars?
Oh, you can improve an octopus. Millions and millions of years of evolution, making it perfect for its surroundings. Okay, another animal for you then, Carl.
Giraffe?
What are they adding to the world? What are they doing?
Well, it's not about what they add to the world,
No, but
is it?
I thought that's what everything's about. It's about things are here for a reason.
Because they work. The only reason is that they survived. They passed on their genetic material and evolved and was chosen by nature. It was selected.
But there seems to be a lot.
The reason they're here is because they didn't die. That's it.
No, but there seem to be a lot of animals that are like.
Do you think there's a lot of cheating? Is that what you're saying?
I'm
There's a lot
just saying
of
there just
doubling
seems to be a
up.
lot of doubling up.
Yeah. So you get it down to like 8 animals that represented all of it. So okay, who would get in your team? You can choose
No,
8 animals.
This is what I'm saying. If I was Noah, I would have gone like, hang on a minute. I've just seen something that looks a bit like this. Let it drown and have a clear out. But he didn't. He was messing about saving everything.
He was instructed by God to save everything,
Yeah.
fair to him.
Yeah, but if he's been given that job, for me, he's sort of manager of that job.
So you believe
With
Noah
Noah.
as well. You
Well-
believe Noah happened as well, and he built a boat big enough to catch two of every species. You actually believe that as fact, do you?
Well, it's out there in book form.
Brilliant.
Alright,
We haven't answered the question that we started with. How did you meet Suzanne?
does that work?
Thanks.
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey!
There was this airline, and was having a lot of problems, and a lot
What,
of the-
pilots too tall?
Yeah, the cabin was so tiny.
Only bananas were allowed in the cockpit for fuel.
Anyway, there was a lot of strikes going on, right?
Sure.
Because I don't know what it was about. It was over money or whatever.
Yes.
And
Well, get something that doesn't need money.
yeah, but
But what else could you pay something in? Well, Rick, can you get
peanuts.
one? Okay, peanuts or fruit. Yeah.
so anyway, the boss of the airline, he had like one pilot who he could trust, right? And that was his son.
Right.
But the problem is with a lot of these planes, you need two pilots.
Of course you do.
And he's like, if only I had two sons, but he didn't. There's no point harping on about it.
I'm sure.
He runs an airline.
He runs an airline, yeah.
But how many pilots are there? Because there must be loads.
No, there's loads, but the problem is a lot of them are going on strike.
Oh.
And each week you can see that we're struggling here.
But how can they get? But
Pilots.
it was just the pilots that were striking, was it?
Yeah, the pilots were striking, yeah.
So all the ground staff and luggage handlers and all that was okay in the cab.
They were fine, it's just pilots
Right.
were not happy with the deal and what have you.
Well, just close it down.
No way, you can't do that.
No,
Rick.
can't-
of course you
It's
can't.
costing him a
Devices.
fortune if he closes it down.
Yeah, but what one plane's not going to make a difference in an airline, is it?
No, it's all the
It's all the
planes.
same thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. So if he's only got one person he can trust, knock it on the head.
No. What's the point? You've got to keep going. You can't just nip stuff in the bud like that. If you